Chapter 628. Look at how you're dressed. Do you still have the face to go out for supper? Yi felt that she was so unlucky. She was clearly the one who had suffered a huge grievance today, yet now she had to turn around and comfort him. She was even afraid that he would commit suicide. What kind of world was this? TMD. It's nothing. I'm just taking my wife out for a meal. What's wrong with wearing anything? Jiang Zhao was blindly trying to please Yi. Looking at himself wearing a cashmere coat with a large lapel, he really looked very comical. If taking her out for supper like this could make her happy, then it didn't matter. Jiang Zhao, we don't have to get a divorce, but we need to sign a separation agreement. After 2 years of separation, when you're not so stubborn anymore, we can officially separate. Yi was no longer impulsive. She tried her best to remain calm. In any case, between them, she could never be too emotional. Ever since her father's accident, she had to mature. Her life was like this. Since he wasn't calm, then let her calm down. Yun Yi. You're F***king playing with me. The man roared angrily. The smile that had just crept up to his eyebrows instantly froze into ice shards. The sharp ice shards smashed into a person's body, causing them to feel pain. Qin Rongfang called Jiang Zhao's cell phone, but no one picked up. He called Yi's cell phone, but no one picked up. Meanwhile, in Jiang Zhao's home in mansion number 9, Jiang Zhao and Yi's cell phones kept ringing in their room on the second floor. Qin Rongfang then called Qin Fian. Qin Fian had just parted ways with Shen Kai. When he received Qin Rongfang's call and inquiry, he recounted everything that had happened that night in full detail. After listening to both sides, Qin Rongfang had an idea in his heart. Grandpa, I don't think the family Ouyang will make a big deal out of this. Qin Fian left Shen Kai's neighborhood and drove in the direction of the Qin family's old mansion. Why? Qin Fian touched the Bluetooth headset on his ear, through the spectacles on the dashboard, and said, "We all know how much Ouyang Xing dotes on Ouyang Yan." He said that he would expose this matter, but would it benefit Ouyang Yan? Moreover, my brother's attitude was quite obvious at night. He was clearly on sister-in-law's side. You didn't see it at that time. Ouyang Yan had already been slapped by sister-in-law until his face was swollen like a ladle. My brother was stunned and didn't stop or persuade her. Grandpa, think about it. With my brother's temper, would he not even say a word when someone bullied his people? Moreover, when Ouyang Yan was about to slap sister-in-law, my brother immediately pressed down on Ouyang Yan's hand, and sister-in-law slapped him twice. Really? Although Qin Rongfang frowned, he then smiled and said, Yi, this girl has a bit of a temper. She usually looks like a very gentle girl. Qin Fian sneered. Yi's temper was indeed gentle in front of Qin Rongfang. Except for the day of the proposal, she was always gentle in the Qin family. When she wasn't in front of the old man, she was much more lively. If Grandpa saw what happened at night, he didn't know how shocked he would be. Isn't that so? Anyway, I don't think Ouyang Sheng is a fool. My brother is biased towards sister-in-law. If he makes a big deal out of it, what if my brother goes all out and doesn't care about anything? Ouyang Yan really can't stay in High City. Moreover, Grandpa, you know that my brother's temper really isn't something that can be threatened. When the time comes, it'll be difficult for the family Ouyang to handle. Qin Rongfang said solemnly. It's easy to make enemies, but not easy to make enemies. The family Ouyang is a big family. We can't easily make enemies with them. If you don't believe me, just wait and see. Once my brother pacifies sister-in-law, if Ouyang Xing dares to jump out and threaten him, he will definitely go against the Ouyang family regardless of the family's objections. In any case, I can see that sister-in-law has been deeply hurt by Ouyang Yan's matter. My brother will probably have a hard time pacifying her, and if he doesn't get even with her, then he won't be Jiang Zhao. It's normal that she didn't answer the phone. Don't worry, I'll go back to the house and tell you that I didn't sleep last night. I won't go to work tomorrow. Up to you. You're lazy anyway. Yun Yi. You're playing with me. You just agreed to it. Jiang Zhao realized that it was especially easy for him to lose control now. Yi Er clearly said that she wouldn't divorce him, but now she said that she wanted to sign a separation agreement. Even if she didn't say anything, he knew that he couldn't sign it. After signing the separation agreement, they would have to divorce after the separation agreement expired. Was he stupid? If they didn't divorce now, would they divorce in 2 years? I didn't. Yi Er continued to drive. She got off the bridge that crossed the river and drove towards the suburbs. She was very awake and didn't want to sleep at all. You lied to me. Jiang Zhao was completely like a child at this moment. He didn't care if he was in the wrong today. He just wanted to shout at Yi Er with a louder voice. Go back and suppress it. You're really shameless. How dare you say that I lied to you? Yi Er gritted her teeth angrily. She was going to suffer internal injuries because of him. Jiang Zhao lowered his shoulders and looked at Yi Er. He reached out and rubbed his face. Then he exhaled. The pitiful expression in his eyes was so pitiful that he wished he could stuff it all into Yi Er's eyes. Yin Yi, I don't have a face, but you do. So don't lie to me. Just now, you said that you wouldn't divorce me, so you'll never divorce me. Damn you. I don't have a face either. Don't talk to me about that nonsense. Jiang Zhao suddenly smiled and pulled the sleeve of Yi Er's sweater that was sticking to her forearm like a lackey. Heh, then wouldn't the two of us, who are shameless, be able to live the rest of our lives together? Yi Er turned her face and glanced at Jiang Zhao's handsome, good-looking, and cowardly face. She suddenly felt like her head was rushing to blood. The flight time from Jiang District to Haicheng was 1 hour and 40 minutes. When Qin Rongfang and Qin Fian picked up Old Master Jiang, Old Madam Jiang, Xiang Wan, and Little Mian, it was already late at night. It was already 11 o'clock in the morning. Old Madam Jiang didn't have any physical reaction. When she saw Qin Rongfang and Qin Fian, she hurriedly walked towards the exit with her walking stick. Little Mian didn't want the nanny to carry him, so Jiang Rui carried him in his arms. Xiang Wan chased after Old Madam Jiang to help her. Grandma, please walk slowly. Xiang Wan, you take care of Mian. I was a sprinter when I was young. This speed isn't considered fast. Qin Rongfang just called out, Sister. Qin Fian pushed his glasses. Grandpa, that's so old-fashioned. It's so unpleasant to hear you call her sister. You're already so old, but you make it sound like you're flirting with a girl. Qin Rongfang glared at him. Old Master Jiang, Old Madam Jiang, and Qin Rongfang sat in the same car. Qin Fian received the young man. Old Madam Jiang sat in the back and patted the back of the front passenger seat. I can't get through to Zhao Zhao's phone. What's going on? How big is this matter going to get? Qin Rongfang sat in the front and didn't turn his head. His face was full of worry. Zhao Zhao didn't go to work, and there's no one at home. They didn't bring their mobile phones. I went to check the CCTV just now, and the car drove out. Fian told me not to worry and that Zhao Zhao knows what he's doing. Sigh, Zhao Zhao has been working for so many years, and he has never said that he doesn't go to work. I asked Lai Qing to call him personally to ask for leave. Old Master Zhang's face darkened. He's getting more and more outrageous. His voice immediately lowered. Could there be an accident? Now I've asked Lai Qing to arrange people to look for him. I just thought of using his car's GPS to look for him. I knew it wouldn't be so smooth. Old Madam Jiang listened to the two men talk for a while, but she didn't say anything. Finally, she patted the back of the front seat. Her small walking stick was nestled under her wrinkled hands. Although her eyes had been wrinkled into a triangular shape, her eyes were full of shrewdness. Old Qin, ask the driver to drive to the family Ouyang. I'll go and meet this old guy, Ouyang Sheng, and see what he wants. If what Fian told you is the truth, then Zhao Zhao has been set up. If he dares to harm my Jiang family so openly, I'll be the first to not let him go. Now that Zhao Zhao and my granddaughter-in-law are not calm, let them go. I'm very calm now. You drive the car to the family Ouyang for me. You men talk about love and righteousness. I'm a woman, I don't talk about that. Old Master Jiang saw that the old lady was a little serious, but he was also a little worried that her body couldn't calm down. He reached out and stroked her knee. Don't get involved. I'll settle these matters with old Qin. You'll solve them? Old Madame Zhang's small and capable appearance shook. She raised her chin. The skin on her neck was a little loose, but her chin was still raised firmly. A man's responsibility is to clean up a mess. When I can't solve it, you'll clean up the mess for me. The stall will be fine. I've been holding back this anger for several years. Last time, it was you who lost face, and it was me who was slapped in the face. This time, I want to see if his family Ouyang thinks he should do whatever he wants. Old Master Jiang glanced at Qin Rongfang in the front seat. Qin Rongfang couldn't wait for old Madame Jiang to come forward, but he didn't say anything. After all, in High City, the family Ouyang always met the Qin family face to face. Sometimes, when they did something that offended people, they felt a little uncomfortable. Moreover, whether or not it was a trap this time, his grandson slept with someone else's granddaughter. Moreover, how could a man say these things? This matter was settled like this. The two high-end cars drove one after another to the family Ouyang's old residence. When they arrived at the family Ouyang, Qin Fian was called by Qin Fian to find Jiang Zhao. Qin Fian directly left, saying that he would send someone to pick him up later. Knowing that old Master Jiang's family had also arrived in High City, Ouyang Xing focused for a moment, but soon calmed down. Inviting a large group of passers-by to sit down in the reception hall, little Mian Mian arrogantly slapped away the nanny's hand and walked to his grandfather. Old Master Jiang sat on the soft leather sofa and lowered his head. Little Mian Mian stretched out his hand to pinch old Master Jiang's face and rubbed it, laughing as he rubbed it. When he caught old Master Jiang's nose, he stood on his tiptoes and stretched out his mouth to bite it. Old Master Jiang deliberately laughed and dodged. He raised his hand high and gently landed on little Mian Mian's butt. Bad boy. Old Master Jiang laughed and scolded. Ouyang Sheng. Old Madam at home asked the kitchen staff to prepare the dishes. Grandma Bai sat beside old Master Jiang. She held a small walking stick in one hand and pressed it with the other. She looked at Ouyang Sheng who was sitting on the sofa opposite her and said apologetically, "Lousy, you don't have to prepare the dishes. With this little devil at home, we rarely bring him out to eat. He's so mischievous that I feel flustered. He's such a cute child, what's there to feel flustered about?" Ouyang Sheng knew that they did not come with good intentions, but he still laughed it off. What's there to be cute about? He's so mischievous. Our Jiang family has a bunch of boys. I feel so annoyed just by looking at them. Grandma Bai glanced sideways at Xiang Wan and winked at her quickly. When Xiang Wan heard Grandma Bai saying that boys were annoying, she felt as though her heart was pinched and felt somewhat uncomfortable. But when she saw Grandma Bai winking at her, she instantly understood and smiled. "Grandma, I can't control whether it's a boy or a girl." Ouyang Sheng tried to persuade her as though he was the host. "That's right. Besides, it's the same whether it's a boy or a girl. We can just have another one." Awesome novel. Songshu 566. Chapter 629. Old Madam Qi waved her hand and sighed helplessly. "Just them? I'm not counting on them anymore. Before they got married, I looked at the photo and told eldest brother that Xiang Yi is going to give birth to a boy. Eldest brother didn't believe me. Just wait and see. If they give birth to a girl, I think that girl from the Yun family is more reliable. Once I look at the photo, I'm sure she'll give birth to a girl that I like. When the time comes, I'll be able to suppress the Jiang family." Xiang Wan sat beside Jiang Rui. Jiang Rui didn't say anything and hugged her shoulder. Xiang Wan put her hand on Jiang Rui's thigh and looked at old Master Jiang. She pouted. Grandpa, look, people say that boys and girls are all the same. Yi Er hasn't given birth to a girl yet, but Grandma is already biased. You have to dote on our Nianmin more. Otherwise, how can the little sister bully her brother the moment she's born? Old Master Jiang carried little Nianmin who was standing in front of him. The 1-year-old boy looked so adorable in his arms. He was so fair and tender that he wanted to take a bite out of him. Old Master Jiang acted as if he didn't hear anything and lowered his head to tickle little Nianmin. Oh, my little sweetheart, let's tell great-grandma that we'll treat our little sister well in the future, okay? You can't be biased, right? Jiang Rui held Xiang Wan's hand and smiled. As an elder brother, you should give in to your little sister. You can't be so narrow-minded. You have to teach Nianmin to be more open-minded. If you don't believe me, you can ask fourth grandpa if Hai Zi has been giving in to Yan since young. The topic of the conversation was from the Jiang family to Ouyang Yan. Although it was a topic of conversation, Ouyang Xing didn't feel comfortable at all. How could he not see that this family was acting? That girl from the Yun family would definitely give birth to a girl? Those words were obviously meant for him to hear. Humph. Hai Zi can't not give in to Yan. Girls are easy to bully. Ouyang Xing seemed to be implying something. The atmosphere instantly turned cold. Fourth brother, I won't beat around the bush anymore. I think Jiang Zhao should stand up and apologize to your Yan. The old madam touched her walking stick and opened and closed her withered hands, looking very solemn. Qin Rongfang and Master Jiang immediately calmed their breathing as they were ready to clean up the mess. Jiang Rui took little Nianmin from old Master Jiang's arms and took little Nyang. Little Nianmin stretched his arms and wanted to be carried by Xiang Wan. He was determined to escape from Jiang Rui's evil clutches. Xiang Wan carried little Nianmin and said softly, "Bite daddy's nose." Little Nianmin giggled. Apologize. What's the big deal about apologizing? Jiang Zhao must be responsible for Yan. I, Ouyang Sheng, only have one granddaughter. How can I let Jiang Zhao bully her like this? The topic was changed quickly. Old Madame Jiang liked it very much. They had made it clear in the beginning. What they needed now was to talk about the follow-up. He must be responsible for this. I won't say anything. Old Madame Jiang sighed. She took a look at Old Master Jiang and then at Ouyang Sheng. Until now, I have never seen such a bastard like Jiang Zhao. You can ask old Qin about Qin Jin's divorce with Lai Qing. That's because Qin Jin minded too much about Lai Qing's past. We can't control how the men of the Jiang family play before marriage. That includes Jiang Feng. That boy is always stirring up trouble. As long as he can solve it himself, no matter if it's me or old Jiang, we will never say a word about him. That's how society is now, right? Ouyang Xing leaned back. He let out a dissatisfied snort. Old Madame Jiang's purpose was too clear. It seemed that he didn't need to laugh it off and be polite. Old Madame Jiang didn't mind and continued to sigh. I've always said that I'm old and can't keep up with this era, but I've tried my best to keep up with the pace of this era. I've always told the little wolf cubs in our family that before they get married, they can settle who they are sorry to, who they talk to, and who they sleep with. Don't make trouble at home and cause trouble for me. I'll turn a blind eye to it and won't get involved. But once they get a marriage certificate, they have to be responsible for this family. Before Xiang Yi married into our Jiang family, although she suffered some hardships, after she got married, our family treated her like our own daughter. Yi Er couldn't come over by plane because I couldn't take the plane, and Jiang Zhao didn't have time to return to Jiang district. I haven't officially drunk her tea yet, but Jiang Zhao was the one who agreed to marry his wife. Whether it was good or bad, he had to admit it. Now that he's married and has done something to let his wife down, he should be punished. Ouyang Xing sneered. Big sister, I don't like what you're saying. In the end, our Yan is the victim. Old Madame Jiang smiled and asked, your Yan was forced by our Jiang Zhao? She was willing to marry a man she didn't like? What happiness is there in such a marriage? Ouyang Sheng was stunned. Our Yan Yan naturally likes Jiang Zhao and is willing to marry him. Old Madame Jiang didn't give Ouyang Sheng time to think. So you're saying that Jiang Zhao didn't force Yan Yan? Yan Yan was willing to marry Jiang Zhao? How would I know? Ouyang Sheng was so anxious that his face turned red. This old woman was clearly setting a trap for him. You don't know? If you don't know, then why did you force Yan Yan to marry Jiang Zhao? That's their private matter. Besides, they've talked about it before. Yan Yan is staying in Jiang Zhao's house in the north of the city. Everyone in Haicheng is talking about what happened between them. Both of them have feelings for each other. How could I force Yan Yan to marry him? That means both of them are traitors. Old Madame Jiang stabbed the floor with her walking stick. When Ouyang Sheng heard the word traitor, his expression changed. Xiang Wan glanced at old Madame Jiang's skinny figure. She sighed in her heart. How many people in the Jiang family could be their match? If they really wanted to do something, there would be many ways. Although she had suffered a lot before she entered the Jiang family, there was one good thing. After she became a legitimate member of the Jiang family, Old Master Jiang and Old Madame Jiang were very protective of her. The stamp on the marriage certificate was really important. That B** starred. Old Madame Jiang stood up. Xiang Wan immediately got up to support her and patted her back. Old Madame Jiang stomped the floor with her walking stick. Her expression was as stiff as a steel plate. She said to Ouyang Sheng angrily, that B** starred. Jiang Zhao, that B** starred is a B** starred. If this happened in the past, they would have been sent to the deep river. Old Jiang and I are people who have been involved in the revolution. What we liberated was the fate of women. In the end, our own granddaughter-in-law became the target of liberation and our own grandson became the target of a bullet. How can old Jiang and I endure this? That B** starred. I must find him today. If he doesn't admit his mistake to that lass from the Yun family, I'll break his legs. Ouyang Sheng suddenly felt that he had been slapped in the face. Old Madame Jiang was scolding Jiang Zhao for being a B** starred and a good-for-nothing. She was also scolding his granddaughter for committing adultery. In the past, if a pregnant woman couldn't find a man, she would be sent to the deep river. If both of them were caught, they would be sent to the deep river together. Get shot? Ouyang Sheng was angered by old Madame Jiang's words and stood up. What do you mean? Are you saying that we don't need to care about our Yan Yan anymore? I'm not afraid to tell you. Old Madame Jiang snorted. Yan Yan and Jiang Zhao have committed adultery. Both of them should kneel in front of that lass from the Yun family and kowtow to admit their mistakes. Although I'm old, I still know some of these new words. Jiang Zhao is having an affair. Yan Yan is a third party who has an affair with a married man. Whether it's Jiang Zhao or Yan Yan, their crimes are unforgivable. The biggest victim here is that lass from the Yun family. She has a marriage certificate and is protected. But she isn't protected. Her husband has committed adultery. Don't you think so? Old Master Yun and Qin Rongfang stood up at this time. They wanted to persuade old Madame Jiang not to be so agitated, but old Madame Jiang acted as if she had a grudge against Ouyang Sheng. Her words were like cannons that couldn't be stopped. After committing adultery, Yan Yan still asked Jiang Zhao to divorce and marry her. That's destroying other people's families. If this was in our era, either one of these would be enough for the two of them to suffer. I won't protect Jiang Zhao in this matter. Even if he is removed from his position and scram home, I won't sympathize with him at all. Old Madame Jiang's trump card was very clear. Even if Jiang Zhao's future was affected, he wouldn't divorce her. However, this wasn't what Qin Rongfang and old Master Jiang wanted at all. They wanted to reconcile. They couldn't affect Jiang Zhao's future. When Ouyang Sheng heard old Madame Jiang's last sentence, the anger in his stomach exploded. He said coldly, "You came here today to tell me this, right?" Old Madame Jiang said, "No. At first, I didn't want to say this. I wanted to come here to make my stand. I must make Jiang Zhao come out and apologize to Yun Yun. But you said that after Jiang Zhao and Yun Yun committed adultery, I feel sorry for that lass, so I will seek justice for that lass. Who said that it was adultery? Your Jiang Zhao clearly left, but he turned back to look for Yun Yun. I have photos of them sleeping together. Fine. Since you said it wasn't adultery, then it must be Jiang Zhao who forced himself on Yun Yun. You can prepare the evidence and sue him. You can provide the photos. If that lass of the Yun family wants to take revenge, she can also sue Jiang Zhao for having an affair. She can create a ruckus on the streets. If I stand up for her, I'm not a good person. Old Madame Jiang slammed her walking stick on the floor. Bang! The sound was like the hammer in the hands of the judge, deciding the case. Everyone's expression changed drastically. Xiang Wan held her breath and did not dare to exhale. Grandma Bai looked too serious. It was as if she was being impulsive and serious. It was as if she was being serious on a whim. If she said that, it could be a big or small matter. Was Grandma Bai really going to ruin Jiang Zhao? Old Master Jiang got up and patted old Madame Jiang's back. Calm down, calm down. You're always like this. You'll get into trouble later. Since all of you want to blow this matter up, then go ahead. Ouyang Xing put his hands on his waist. He didn't want to be polite with anyone today. Old Madame Jiang snorted and said righteously, even if we don't blow this matter up, we can't solve it. The two of them must be used as negative examples. Both of them think that we have powerful families to protect us. That's why we dared to be so unruly behind our wives' backs. Young people nowadays have no sense of responsibility for their families. Jiang Zhao is still young, not even 30 years old. This lesson will be enough for him to reflect on for the rest of his life. He must know the importance of family harmony to his career. Even if he doesn't go into politics, he can still choose other paths. However, he has to be responsible for the rest of his life. If he doesn't learn a lesson, he won't remember it. His life has been too smooth. This shouldn't have happened. When Ouyang Xing heard old Madame Jiang saying such heartless words, his face turned pale. He felt as though there was blood stuck in his throat, and he swallowed it back down. Yin Yi had rushed into his house and hit him like a madwoman. What if she really took the photos and caused a ruckus on the streets? This family of foxes. Was she telling the truth? Beauty novel, Xinwu 799. Chapter 630. Ye drove the car to the foot of an unknown mountain in the distant suburbs. Later, she got tired of driving and stopped there. It had been a long time since she could do whatever she wanted. Who cares? Even if the sky fell, so be it. Jiang Zhao's strategy was to not fight back when hit or scold. In any case, he claimed that he was guilty and deserved to be punished, hit, and scolded. Yi made a fuss. She felt that she was especially boring. She told him to divorce, and he said no. She told him to separate, and he said no. She told him to go to hell, and he said okay. Wasn't this asking for her life? In the end, she was worn down until there was nothing left but annoyance. She felt that she had never been so annoyed with him before. He was so annoying, so annoying. The two of them slept in the car. Yi turned off the engine. Jiang Zhao said, "Turn on the air conditioner." Turning on the air conditioner is bad for the car. Are you an idiot? It's fine. If it gets bad, we can buy another one. Buy the one you like. If you don't turn on the air conditioner and wear so little, you'll catch a cold. Crazy. In the end, he started the car and turned on the air conditioner for the whole night. At dawn, Yi reached out and patted the chair Jiang Zhao was sleeping on. Drive the car back to work. I want to stay here for a while. Yi saw that the scenery nearby was pretty good. There were signs that looked like farmhouses, so she could stay for 2 days. She really didn't want to go back. She wanted to indulge herself and give herself a break. Jiang Zhao slept in the passenger seat. After the chair was leveled, he lay on it. His legs were still uneven. He was too long. He raised his hands and put them behind his head. I'm not going. Are you crazy? It's Monday. Jiang Zhao closed his eyes and said, I'm not crazy. I'm going to lose my wife soon. Why should I go to work? I'm not going to work. I don't rely on that little salary anyway. What's so good about that work? You can't even wear clothes that are too expensive. Even your wedding ring is a plain ring. You don't even dare to buy a pigeon egg to wear. Which of those rich madams doesn't stretch out their fingers to show off? Let's go back. I'll buy you a new pigeon egg. You can wear it out to make others envious. We'll buy the biggest one. If someone surpasses you, we'll change. Yi Er's mouth twitched. Was this guy's brain short-circuited? Lie down and pretend to be asleep. Jiang Zhao did not hear Yi Er's reply. He opened his eyes and saw Yi Er glaring at him with crooked teeth. He chuckled. What do you think? Yi Er sighed. Jiang Zhao, you should be more rational. You're already an adult, you should be more reliable. This job is not about the salary. The Jiang family and the Qin family are counting on you to enter the provincial party committee in the future, or even move up the ranks. Aren't you afraid that your family will be upset by your words of self-abandonment? If you don't go back with me, why should I go to work? If you don't go back, I won't go back. You're threatening me. Do you know that? I'm not threatening you. I just want to be with you. If we don't split, how are we going to live? Right now, I'm afraid that you'll be next to me. I feel disgusted when you put your hand on me. Yi Er wasn't lying. She couldn't get rid of the things in her mind. However, she wasn't as agitated as she was last night because she had met a rascal. If she got agitated, he would do something even more agitated. She couldn't handle his tricks anymore. She could only speak softly and talk to him in a gentle manner. Jiang Zhao turned his body to the side. Yi Er was still lying flat on the mainframe seat. Looking at Yi Er's face, she was indeed haggard, but the finger marks on her face had faded a lot and were no longer swollen. He also knew that what she said was disgusting, so he tried his best not to touch her. He didn't dare to hug her, because if he hugged her, she would start to attack him again and start to be on guard. He knew that she instinctively hated him. He turned around and looked at the sky outside the skylight. She sighed. Yin Yi, have you ever thought that it wasn't easy for us to get married? You said that you wanted to marry me in front of so many people. Do you still remember that time when you called me and lied to me that you got into a car accident? When I was about to look for you, you ran out of the crowd and hugged me as soon as you ran out. I was so angry that I wanted to stomp my feet. I was worried that you had gotten into a car accident, but you played with me. You stood in front of me in perfect condition. You made me worry for nothing. I asked you what you wanted to do, and you said that you wanted to marry me. Jiang Zhao was stunned. He closed his eyes and said, What do you want to do? You said that you want to marry me. Yin Yi, I will never forget that time when you told me that you wanted to marry me. Do you know that your eyes were like fireworks at that time? It was as if the night sky was lit up all of a sudden. I still remember your tone and expression clearly. It was as if they were carved into my mind with a knife. I remember that you were so confident and firm at that time. You were like a stake that was firmly planted in front of me and I couldn't push you away. It was as if you were determined to marry me and no one could stop you. It was as if you would never regret it for the rest of your life. At that time, you were so confident that I was stunned. I will always remember where you were standing at that time. At that time, the maple leaves were red, above your head, and around you. At that time, the golden sun shone through those yezi and shone into your eyes. Yin Yi, your eyes were so bright at that time. I will never forget it for the rest of my life. Yin Yi, no matter whether you were sincere or not, do you dare to deny that you were pretending to be so determined at that time? Yi listened to him and was a little mesmerized. When she heard the man's slightly hoarse narration, she couldn't help but feel sad. She slowly said, I wasn't pretending. At that time, I already wanted to marry you. I thought that I couldn't let Ouyang Yen marry you. If she married you, I would become a mistress. I didn't want to be a mistress. I was determined not to be a mistress. I had this thought. With this thought, she turned herself into the main wife and Ouyang Yen into a mistress. Jiang Zhao listened and let out a long breath. He felt somewhat comforted, gratified, and relieved. In short, the soft part of his heart was extremely warm even though it was sour at this time. Yin Yi, I know you saw it yesterday. I explained to you that there was nothing between me and her. You didn't believe me, but I still told you, sigh, Jiang Zhao, I don't want to hear your explanations right now. Really, I know you don't want to get a divorce, so let's not get a divorce for now. Let's break up for a while. Jiang Zhao, let's break up for a while. You can deal with the outside world as much as you want, I won't care anymore. Anyway, I don't need to get married now. We'll talk about this again when things have calmed down. Let's live in harmony in the future. Some people said that time was not as good as obsession, and time was not as good as fickle. In her opinion, the nemesis of obsession was the spear of time. The root of fickleness was the essence of human nature. At the end of the day, there was nothing in this world that could not change. She hated her calmness and maturity at this time. Although the dull pain in her heart was still clear, she realized that she had not learned anything else in the past 2 years. She had learned one thing, and that was to be ruthless to herself. Ever since her father's accident, she had done many things without leaving a way out for herself. She had forced herself to death many times. Unwu said that there would be a way out. If there was no way out, there would be a way out. Where there were feet, there would be a way out. So it was impossible for people to have no way out. She had forced herself to the beach and dared to swim over because she thought she could swim. She had married Yen. She had forced herself to the forest and dared to barge in because she thought there were wild fruits. She had forced herself to the edge of a cliff and dared to take off her clothes as a parachute and jump down. There was nothing she did not dare to do, including slapping herself hard to wake herself up, including hitting Ouyang Yen to vent the humiliation in her heart. She did not hit him, but, although she hated him, she could not bear to do it. Jiang Zhao paused for a few seconds and chewed on her words a few times. Suddenly, he felt his blood rushing to his heart. No matter how he confessed or explained, it was useless. She had closed the door to her heart and did not want to communicate with him. She did not want to waste her breath on him. She did not need to remarry now. She did not need to do it now. She would need to do it in the future. She still wanted to marry someone else? Wait for everyone to calm down before saying all these? She said she loved him, and now she said she wanted to wait for things to calm down? Love was love, and then she could stop loving him just because she said she did not love him? Was it easy to say these words? Yin Yi, Jiang Zhao sat up. How do you plan to calm down with me? I will not agree to live apart from you. Yi also sat up with him. She leaned against the car door and looked at him. Jiang Zhao, can you be more reasonable? When Jiang Zhao was silent, he only cared about inhaling and exhaling. His heavy breaths enveloped the entire car. Yi looked at him stubbornly and resisted his final struggle. The man's lips were a little dry from being exposed to the air conditioner all night. He stuck out the tip of his tongue and licked it lightly. Can I still be reasonable now? Haven't I already lost all reason? Am I not only left with being unreasonable and making trouble for no reason? If this had happened in the past, if she had wanted to talk about divorce or breaking up, he would have been in the mood to talk nonsense with her. But now, he did not dare to talk nonsense with her. As long as he compromised a little, it would be exactly what she wanted. He knew that although she was young, she was not afraid of trouble at all. Now that she had even thought of a way out for herself with Yun Hongwei's matter and was planning to bear it alone, what meaning and value did he have left? He had no bargaining chip to threaten her, so he could only be unreasonable and make trouble for no reason. You still want to sleep in the same bed as me? Jiang Zhao, what kind of logic is this? You can't bully people like this. I don't want to sleep in the same bed as you. Fine, but you can't be separated from me. You. Yin Yi, let's all take a step back. We'll still stay in mansion number 9. We'll still treat both sides' elders well. There are 2 rooms on the 2nd floor. In the future, you'll sleep in the big room and I'll sleep in the small room. I promise I won't touch you, but don't mention signing any separation agreement with me. Jiang Zhao, I won't feel free like that. I don't want to please you in the future. I don't want to be so tired. I want to move out and live the life I want to live. I can find a job as a dance teacher. The income won't be bad. Actually, I've asked before. I can support my brother and father. I'll discuss father's matter with Xia Qian and ask her to teach me how to use public opinion to add fuel to the fire. No. Jiang Zhao interrupted with a sullen face, you're still my wife now. We're not divorced yet. What right do you have to discuss your matter with Xia Qian and not me? Fine, I'll do as you say. I don't care about you. You want freedom. If you want to be a dance teacher, go ahead. But you can't change the previous plans. Father's matter, the matter of studying, the matter of opening a dance studio, none of them can be changed. Add Hongcha 866. Chapter 631. Jiang Zhao was so sure that he almost finished speaking in one breath. He couldn't stop. He had to pour out his thoughts. He couldn't let her make the decision. What did it look like? She wanted to draw a clear line between them. This was something he couldn't allow. If their previous plans were to change, his marriage would really be over. She was very young to begin with. It was so easy for her to forget someone. If she broke away from his control, she would become more and more independent. It wasn't a good thing for a woman to be too independent because he could clearly feel that she wanted to break away from him. First, she wanted to break away from him from a single point of view. In the end, she wanted to break away from him in all aspects. He wouldn't give her such a chance. If she wanted to open a dance studio, he would find someone to help her choose a location. He would pay for it. He could often give her advice on management. This way, she would rely on him. If she wanted to study, he could tutor her. As for Yin Hongwei's matter, he could speed up and help her settle it. He couldn't wait anymore. He had to settle it even if he had to pay the price. As long as it was settled, she would be grateful to him. Therefore, all of these things couldn't have nothing to do with him. It had to be related. The family Ouyang's old residence was very tense. Ouyang Yan had been listening to the conversation in the living room from the corner of the corridor. She covered her face and cried but couldn't make a sound. She didn't know if old madam's words were true. In short, she was afraid. She was really afraid. If old madam got involved in this matter to seek justice for Yun Yi and insisted on blowing this matter up and even allowed Yun Yi to take revenge on Jiang Zhao, what kind of situation would that be? The entire Haiqing would scold her and Jiang Zhao for being an adulterous couple. What would she do if Yun Yi became more arrogant and jumped out to make trouble? If Jiang Zhao became a man who wouldn't change his mind to save his family, what would she do? She would be despised even more. Being despised wasn't scary. What was scary was that even if she was despised, she wouldn't be able to become Mrs. Jiang. The Jiang family didn't seem to like her very much. However, old Master Jiang had specially come from Jiang district to put in a good word for her. Ouyang Yan clenched his fists. His face was covered in bruises and bruises. His face shape and skin color could not be seen. His eyes, which were originally as calm as water, were slowly stained with resentment. Xiang Wan supported Grandma Bai, but Grandma Bai refused to sit down. Ouyang Sheng was taller than Grandma Bai. He stood on the opposite side of the coffee table with his head held high, looking very domineering. Grandma Bai did not want to lose her imposing manner. Her petite body supported herself with a walking stick, which made her look like a dignified old madam. Fourth bro, you should call Yun Yun out. We can ask her face to face. Children can always explain everything clearly. It's useless for us adults to worry here. In fact, the old lady knew very well that she was making a scene because she wanted to have a psychological battle with Ouyang Sheng. When she was young, she had encountered countless enemies. Women could not win in a fight. Sometimes, they had to rely on their wits and pretentiousness. How could she allow others to defame her grandson? How could she destroy her grandson's future with her own hands? Ouyang Sheng, that sly old fox, wanted to use the fact that the Jiang family and the Qin family were afraid that Jiang Zhao's future would be ruined. She wanted to see who could afford to lose. Obviously, Ouyang Sheng could not afford to lose the Ouyang Yan's reputation. Even if Jiang Zhao did not work in politics, he could still do business. With the influence of the Jiang family and the Qin family, as well as Jiang Zhao's own companies, he had a bright future ahead of him. Even if he got divorced, at most, he would be recorded as a playboy in the history of men. Ouyang Yan could also choose not to work in the prosecutor's office. He could still do business, but what about the future? No matter where she went, people would remember that she was slapped by the former Mrs. Jiang. Her face was so swollen that it looked like a ladle. Moreover, the Jiang family did not allow her to enter their house. A playboy's playboy reputation could be called amorous, but a playboy reputation for a woman was called cheap. Who was the one who was at a disadvantage? Ouyang Sheng was clearer than anyone else. When the Jiang family wanted to smash the pot, the family Ouyang dared to follow the Jiang family and smash the pot, the Ouyang Yan. Was that so? Obviously, they did not dare to do so. Yun Yun is injured. It's not convenient for her to come out and meet guests. Ouyang Sheng refused. I've heard about it from Fian. Grandma Bai heaved a long sigh, seeming to be regretful. She did not hear it from Fian but from Qin Rongfang. However, she told Ouyang Sheng that she heard it from Fian. Fian was the first eyewitness and witnessed the grand occasion at that time. Ouyang Sheng's eyebrows sank slightly. Grandma Bai patted Xiang Wan's hand. Xiang Wan, you and Yun Yun are both young people. There's no generation gap between you two. Go and take a look at her. Yi Er is still young and impulsive. However, you're her sister-in-law. Now that your sister-in-law has hurt someone, you should go and apologize. This lass is really too much. Her own husband had also done something wrong, so why did she keep hitting other people's women? She should also give Jiang Zhao a few slaps on his face as well. A man like him would be afraid of being hit. He would not dare to do such a disgraceful thing in the future. Xiang Wan was obedient and witty when she was outside. Her gentle voice had won Grandma Bai's favor. Grandma, don't worry. I'll definitely do my part. Grandma Bai patted Xiang Wan's hand again. Good girl, the daughter-in-law of the Jiang family should do her part. Ouyang Sheng held his forehead. He had been scolded many times today. How could a disgraceful thing be used to describe a man having an affair outside? Part? Was she saying that his granddaughter seduced a married man and did not do her part? If he still wanted to live for a few more years, he had to chase away this pack of wolves and foxes. He had already confronted them earlier. Now, he only said coldly, I'll ask Yun Yun about this matter. Both of you can go back. Anyway, Ninian is not used to eating outside. Grandma Bai laughed and stood up. She pulled Grandpa Zhang's collar. Go, go, go. Take the little devil back. You dote on him anyway. Jiang Rui carried little Ninian and stood up. Son, let's go back. Let's go play with Uncle and Auntie. Let's play marbles, okay? Xiang Wan's mouth twitched. Marbles? All the diamonds in the box at home had been taken by her son to play with marbles. She had tried to stop him many times, but he always said that they were at home. If they really could not be found, they would come out when the house was cleaned. When she was angry with him, he would say that they were just glass marbles. What kind of people were they? Qin Fian followed Jiang Liqing to find Jiang Zhao's car. When the two of them were surrounded by several military vehicles, one of them looked panicked while the other looked calm and composed. Yi Er asked anxiously, Jiang Zhao, what should we do? Dad is here. Are we in big trouble? The woman, who had just said that she would be given a holiday, quickly lost her courage and pulled Jiang Zhao's sleeve in fright. It wasn't that Jiang Zhao didn't like it. He thought, Brother Lai Qing, you came at the right time. My wife is finally willing to touch me. I haven't even jumped into the river, and she's already willing to touch me. Dad? Brother Lai Qing, you're my dad, my dear dad. Did you hear that? Your daughter-in-law is calling you dad. You have to respond louder later. I'll drink with you more next time. Jiang Zhaoxian leisurely looked at the rear-view mirror and adjusted the collar of his coat. Ah, his chest muscles are really sexy. He lightly said, well, I guess he just got into big trouble. Who knows, if he likes it then so be it. What should we do? What should we do if Dad asks? What do you mean what should we do? Anyway, even if the sky falls, we'll use it as a blanket. Jiang Zhao knew that today's beating was unavoidable. Other families' children had stopped using corporal punishment a long time ago, but the Jiang family still kept this tradition. He could almost hear the whooshing sound of his father's whip in the air. How many years had it been since he was whipped because he was smart? The person who knocked on Jiang Zhao's car door was not Jiang Liqing or any other soldier or officer. Instead, it was Qin Fian, a handsome and meticulously dressed man. He was wearing a flashy green sweater in the middle of winter, and his coat was still open. With his hands in his trouser pockets, he wobbled to the side of the off-road vehicle. When he wanted to lean on it and pose, he found that the car was a little dirty, so he immediately stood up straight and knocked on the glass window of the passenger seat with his mobile phone in his hand. A pair of charming phoenix eyes overflowed with a playful smile under the lensless frame glasses. Oh, you've come all the way to the wilderness to date? Jiang Zhao rolled down the window and said recklessly, are you jealous? Jealous, right? Qin Fian looked at Jiang Zhao who was wearing a cashmere coat and Yi Er who was only wearing a sweater. He reached out and tugged at Jiang Zhao's collar. Brother, when did you go the sexy route? At this time, your style suddenly changed. I suddenly felt like I was struck by lightning. Are you planning to steal my rice bowl in the future? What rice bowl? My market is different from yours. Yes, yes, yes. I attract handsome men. You attract. Jiang Zhao noticed that Qin Fian was looking at Yi Er. When he turned around, he saw that Yi Er's face had indeed darkened. He turned around and glared at Qin Fian fiercely, reprimanding in a low voice, You only know how to find trouble for me. Qin Fian smiled devilishly, don't glare at me. Good luck to you. He paused slightly and looked at Yi Er. Yi Er heard the pause and looked up, coincidentally meeting Qin Fian's eyes. Qin Fian's eyes quickly fell on Jiang Zhao's eyes. Uncle is going to give you a heavy punishment this time. Even if you don't die, you will be skinned alive. Yi Er was shocked. She had heard that Jiang Liqing was a very cruel person, but after getting married, she didn't find out. Even if he didn't die, he would be skinned alive. What kind of concept was that? Her little fists unconsciously clenched tightly. Jiang Zhao shrugged, you don't have to say that. I can already feel the murderous intent. It was good that someone was going to punish him. The military car honked a few times. Jiang Zhao said to Yi Er, drive. Follow Dad's car. If you're tired, I'll drive. Qin Fian walked out of the driver's seat and opened the car door. Sister-in-law, you sit in the back. I'll drive. Yi Er heard Qin Fian's words and shivered the moment she got out of the car. She didn't wear a jacket, so it was really cold. The off-road car followed behind the military car, and there were a few other cars following behind. It was as if they were escorting a criminal. Yi Er's hair stood on end. Thinking about Qin Fian's words, even if he didn't die, he would be skinned alive. She couldn't help but shiver and pat the back of the front seat. Fian, where are we going? Qin Fian drove the car and took a deep breath. The Qin family's old residence. Sister-in-law, you should find something for my brother to fill his stomach with. After being whipped, he probably won't even have the strength to eat. Uncle hasn't whipped anyone in a long time. He really wants to drink human blood. Yi Er's back was instantly drenched in cold sweat. Attention, Songshu 566. Chapter 632. Yi Er was trembling as she listened. She sat behind Qin Fian and saw that the man in the front passenger seat was sitting there like a dead pig, unafraid of boiling water, as if he was resting. He had always been like this, able to take everything calmly and not panic in the face of danger. Yi Er tilted her head over. Fian, do we have to go to the Qin family's old residence? I haven't eaten yet, I'm a little hungry. Yi Er knew that this trip boded ill rather than well. Qin Fian usually spoke so casually. Although she couldn't tell if he was lying or not, she knew that he wasn't joking just by looking at the military vehicles. She wanted to escape. Qin Fian wasn't a fool. Even if Jiang Zhao wasn't dressed to the nines like him, he was still decent and elegant. Now that he was dressed so comically, it was obvious that he was chasing his wife. This matter wouldn't end so easily. But Yi Er's worries were clearly heard by him. Remembering that his brother had been troubled all night, Qin Fian decided to help him. Sister-in-law, I'm afraid we can't leave now. There are military vehicles in front and behind us. If Uncle gets angry and catches us as deserters, it'll be even worse. You can go back to the Qin residence and find something to eat. Anyway, you won't be whipped, my brother will be the one getting whipped. It would have been better if Qin Fian hadn't said it, but once he said that Jiang Zhao would be whipped, Yi Er's heart couldn't help but tremble. She clenched her little fists and trembled. He's already so old, why does he still have to be whipped? Jiang Zhao's eyes were still closed, but his eyelashes fluttered. The corners of his mouth curled up imperceptibly as he sighed. Family law. That's how our family works. He wasn't lying. If a father wanted to call for a whip, no matter how old his son was, the biggest concession he could make was to find a secluded place where no outsiders could see. He wouldn't call for a whip above his neck where outsiders could see. This was already a huge honor. He smiled. It was just that he knew that there was someone worried about him. It felt really good to have a woman he liked worry about him. Why didn't he experience it earlier? Qin Fian felt that he should add more firewood to Yi Er, so he said to Jiang Zhao, Bro, do you know that you're going to the execution ground? Should I get some clothes? When you get home, eldest uncle will definitely tell you to take off your coat and wear a shirt to cover it. Otherwise, eldest uncle's whip that has been with him for decades is made of real leather. It's very heavy. Even the sound of the whip hitting the air is very shocking, not to mention hitting human flesh. Yi Er was indeed scared stiff. She was so scared that her heart was in a mess. She leaned against Qin Fian's seat and gripped the edge of the genuine leather seat tightly. Her fingertips made a goo-goo sound as they rubbed against the genuine leather. She took a deep breath and said seriously, Fei Yan, take off your sweater and let Jiang Zhao wear it. Jiang Zhao turned his head and saw Yi Er leaning against Qin Fian's seat, looking straight at Fei Yan. Her gaze was very penetrating. Nervousness and worry, fear and panic. These things were all because of him, right? Why didn't he notice it before? Yin Yi, how good were you at acting in the past? When you looked into my eyes in the past, you were provocative and not serious, stubborn and unwilling to admit defeat. When I asked you, you didn't mean what you said. When I didn't ask you, you didn't mean what you said. But at this moment, that soft spot in his heart seemed to be constantly being rubbed by someone. Rubbing and rubbing out a puddle of water. Yi Er was completely unaware of Jiang Zhao's attention. She was still anxiously waiting for Qin Fian's reply. Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er and said quietly, Yin Yi, don't worry about it. The sweater still has to be taken off. My dad is not a fool. How could he let someone get whipped while wearing clothes? Yi Er looked back at Jiang Zhao's eyes. She saw that his eyes were as calm as the surface of a lake in a painting. There was not a trace of undulation. It was as if what was going to happen next was nothing at all. It was a kind of peace of mind. He was telling her not to worry. So it turned out that one could communicate with their eyes. Why were his eyes so deep and messy in the past? It made her unable to see. She thought that she could persevere because of the reassurance in his eyes. But when she got back to the Qin residence, her legs started to tremble. When she entered the main hall of the Qin residence, the whole family was present. Her mother-in-law was not around. Fei Yu was not around. Grandpa had come over from Jiang district. The one who was holding a walking stick next to him should be Grandma. She had seen the photo that Jiang Zhao had given her. Elder brother and sister-in-law were here as well. Qin Fian knew that he was of no use here. He would not be able to persuade them at all. Hence, he simply found an excuse to go to the backyard to take a look. Yi Er felt a little guilty. Father was not around. Was it because he was unwilling to come? Or did he not know what happened last night? Xiang Wan felt that the atmosphere was too gloomy. She carried Mian Mian and walked to Yi Er. Yi Er, are you cold? Shall I put on a cashmere shawl? No need, no need. I'm not cold. It's quite warm in the main hall. There's an air conditioner. Yi Er took Mian Mian from Xiang Wan and hugged him. Little Mian Mian, did you miss me? Xiang Wan lifted Mian Mian's chin. Baby, call me second aunt. Second aunt. Mian Mian's language development was not bad. Among the babies of the same age, his pronunciation was considered very clear. Yi Er looked at Mian Mian. Second aunt? Second uncle, second aunt? He sighed softly in his heart. The atmosphere in the main hall was stifling. Everyone in the house was holding their breaths. Jiang Liqing's temper could usually be suppressed by the elders in the family. However, if something like what happened to Jiang Zhao happened, no one would be able to stop him. Jiang Liqing was a soldier, and an experienced one at that. Discipline was a very important thing to him. Even though he and Qin Zhen had the intention of breaking off their relationship with his ex-girlfriend, after they got married, no matter how upset he felt, he had never slept in his ex-girlfriend's bed. To the Jiang family, this was definitely a disgrace to their family's reputation. As his parents had participated in the revolution, they had traditional values and educated their children using traditional values. Later on, due to the changes in society, when it came to Jiang Zhao's generation, there were no longer any rules regarding cohabitation before marriage. However, after marriage, there were still restrictions on their behavior. Grandma Bai was a little nervous as she held her walking stick. Liqing, let's talk about this on the table first. You can't just use corporal punishment whenever something happens. Your child is almost at the age of becoming a father. If you can, don't use force to solve it. It was inevitable that they would be closer to their grandson. As his grandparents, how could they not protect him? However, since things had turned out this way, the two elders couldn't really say anything. Especially since Yi Er was also around, it would not look good if they tried to protect him. If I had used force on him earlier, he wouldn't have done such a thing. Jiang Liqing was still in his military uniform. The dark brown horsewhip in his hand looked quite old. The leather whip had an old glow to it, and the hand holding the handle was tight and strong. Jiang Liqing's voice suppressed everyone's breathing in the main hall. Old Master Jiang and Old Madam Jiang had fought against each other before. Old Master Jiang had always believed that political power came from the barrel of a gun, and filial sons came from the rod of a rod. His two sons were born in this way. Therefore, when his two sons wanted to beat their own sons, he really couldn't say anything unless the children were innocent. When Grandma Bai heard Jiang Liqing's rebuttal, she looked at Yi Er and swallowed her words. Yi Er hugged Jianmin tightly. Dianmian was uncomfortable from the tight grip and started crying loudly. Yi Er snapped out of his daze and quickly hugged Dianmian. Dianmian, don't cry, don't cry. This attracted the attention of everyone in the room. Even Jiang Liqing asked, what's wrong? Yi Er was still feeling guilty, but suddenly his heart skipped a beat. He lifted his head and walked towards Jiang Liqing with Dianmian in his arms. Dad, Dianmian is probably frightened. He pointed at the horsewhip in Jiang Liqing's hand and said to Dianmian, little Dianmian, look. Is grandfather's whip nice to look at? Can you stop fooling around? Dianmian's attention was immediately drawn over. He bent over and tried to snatch Jiang Liqing's whip. Jiang Liqing's expression darkened. Yi Er. You're indulging Jiang Zhao. If you indulge him like this, I won't care if he bullies you in the future. Yi Er didn't know that Jiang Liqing would be so straightforward at this moment. He saw through her intentions and didn't give her any face. She bit her lip and her eyes turned red. Dad, Jiang Zhao is already so old. Let's not hit him anymore, shall we? Mianmian only cared about snatching the whip from Jiang Liqing's hand. Xiang Wan was worried that Jiang Liqing would raise his hand and hit her son. When she wanted to carry her son back, she was stopped by Jiang Rui. Xiang Wan was anxious. She had seen this eldest uncle of hers before. He could slap the back of Jiang Feng's neck without giving him any face at all. At this moment, his head was filled with blood. Who knew what he might do? Jiang Rui lowered his head and whispered in Xiang Wan's ear, eldest uncle won't hurt Dianmian. Xiang Wan looked up and glared at Jiang Rui. She lowered her voice and mouthed, Jiang De, Dianmian is your biological son. Jiang Liqing roared, Yi Er. Carry Dianmian to the side. If I hurt Dianmian, you will become the sinner of the whole family. Yi Er was shocked. Dianmian was also frightened by Jiang Liqing's loud voice and started to cry. Xiang Wan pushed Jiang Rui away and quickly walked over to Yi Er. Yi Er, the more you try to persuade him, the harder eldest uncle will hit him. Xiang Wan could understand how Yi Er felt. When Jiang Rui was hit by old Master Jiang, her heart was broken into pieces. The men of the Jiang family were filial. Hence, they didn't dare to complain when they were punished. Yi Er was scared out of her wits and didn't dare to say a word. Old Mistress Jiang turned her face away. Qin Rongfang was so anxious that he wanted to stomp his feet but could only endure it. He wanted to leave but was worried that Jiang Liqing would hit him hard. Everyone in the house heard Jiang Liqing shout. Take off your coat. Turn around. Jiang Zhao knew that he was going to be whipped today, but he had seen all of Yi Er's little tricks. He didn't say a word, but he thought that he really deserved a beating. They were already in such a state, did she still want him to get hurt? Just like yesterday, she had slapped her and Ouyang Yan's faces, but she didn't slap him at all. The more he thought about it, the faster he took off his coat. He threw the cashmere coat on the floor. Although there was an air conditioner in the main hall, he still felt the cold wind when he was half naked. Jiang Rui supported Xiang Wan. Xiang, take Dianmian out. Don't leave him here. You'll scare him. Xiang Wan carried Dianmian out from Yi Er's arms. Yi Er immediately grabbed Jiang Rui and said in a trembling voice, Big brother, can't you tell Dad? Can't you not hit him? Jiang Rui really didn't know what to say. The Jiang family was different from other families. If the elders really wanted to hit him, no matter how arrogant the children and grandchildren were, they would have to kneel. Yi Er, go out with your sister-in-law. Don't stay here. Pia. Yi Er felt as if her eardrums were about to burst. She suddenly turned around and saw that Jiang Zhao was already facing outside the main hall. His back was facing the main seat of the main hall. On his back, which was still sturdy and broad just a moment ago, there was now a long and ghastly wound. Qin Fian said that eldest uncle's whip really wanted to drink human blood. Yi Er covered her mouth. Unknowingly, tears were already on her face. That whip was obviously aimed at her heart. When the whip landed, her heart was bleeding profusely. Welfare, Hongcha 866. Chapter 633. Ever since she was born, she had never seen anyone use a horsewhip to whip their own son. Was this really his own son? If he was, how could he bear to do it? Was it because of what happened yesterday? She was clearly the victim yesterday. None of the victims jumped out to hit anyone. How could a father hit someone? The next whip landed with a pia sound. Everyone lowered their heads. Old Madame Yi clutched her chest and didn't dare to look. Jiang Liqing used the tone he used to train soldiers. You've made me lose all my face. You wolf cub, you're still a public servant. You're still my son. Now, I can't even straighten my back when I walk out. How could you do such a wicked thing? You even caused the Jiang and Qin families to be threatened by the family Ouyang. You're not a thing. Yi Er suddenly understood. Threatened by the family Ouyang? The implications of this matter were so big. Was it because she hit Ouyang Yen? The blood on Jiang Zhao's back felt wet. Yi Er's scalp felt tight and numb. When the whip was about to land again, Yi Er rushed over and grabbed Jiang Liqing's wrist. Jiang Liqing glared at her. Yi Er panicked, but she didn't dare to dodge. She cried and shouted, "Dad!" She held Jiang Liqing's hand tightly. Yi Er knew many rules in the Jiang and Qin families. Jiang Zhao said that all of them had been punished to kneel before. When they were young, they were often punished to kneel because the elders felt that they were very powerful. She slowly knelt down, unable to feel the cold air on the floor because the chill in her heart was already heavy enough. She raised her head, tears blurred her vision as she said earnestly, "Father, I'm sorry. This matter. I didn't expect it to blow up to this extent. I was the one who hit Ouyang Yen. I slapped her a total of 16 times. I'll take responsibility for what I did. Please, please don't hit Jiang Zhao." Old Madame Yi was shocked. 16 slaps. Oh my God. Was he beaten until he was deaf? When she saw that her granddaughter-in-law had stepped forward to plead for leniency, she quickly stood up and pulled Jiang Liqing back. "Liqing, look, even Yi Er has said to let it go." Qin Rongfang had always been protective of his children. Jiang Zhao had basically been in Haiqing for more than 10 years, and they had a deep relationship. When they got married, he could jump out and stop Jiang Liqing from getting physical. He could say, "It's just a marriage, so be it. It's not a big deal." But the nature of this matter was different. If Jiang Zhao was willing to divorce and marry family Ouyang, it would be fine. But if he wasn't, it would be a mess. Seeing that Yi Er had stepped forward, Qin Rongfang thought that the time had come. He couldn't hit him anymore. "Liqing, it's about time. 2 lashes. You'll have to recuperate for at least half a month." When Jiang Zhao turned around, the frown that had been on his face when he was being hit earlier had disappeared. When he saw Yi Er kneeling on the ground, he couldn't help but laugh. He tugged at Yi Er's sleeve. "Yin Yi, get up. Someone will help you vent your anger. When you're no longer angry, let's go home, okay?" Yi Er's heart ached. This wasn't the right way to vent his anger. He let go of Jiang Zhao with one hand, but he didn't dare to let go of Jiang Liqing's hand with the other. He pushed Jiang Zhao away and said, "It's none of your business." "All right, I won't bother with you. Get up. Don't kneel. It's winter. Or you can go home first. Don't stay here and watch. Just think that I deserve to be hit. You can't do it, so your father-in-law will do it for you. That way, you'll feel better." Jiang Liqing added, "Yi Er, get up. I'll seek justice for you." In Jiang Liqing's eyes, regardless of whether he sought justice for his daughter-in-law, Jiang Zhao's son still had to be taught a lesson. Now that this matter had escalated to this point, the elders on both sides were alarmed. His mother had refused to take a plane for many years and had risked her life to come to Haicheng. This wolf cub was unfilial. It would have been better if Yi Er hadn't heard what Jiang Liqing said. After he heard what Jiang Liqing said, he immediately plucked up his courage and snatched the whip from Jiang Liqing's hand. He quickly stood up and turned around. Jiang Liqing was stunned. Yi Er had already rushed up to Jiang Zhao and raised the whip. He raised his hand to wipe away the tears on his face and sniffed hard. You owe me. I'll do it myself. I'll hit you myself to vent my anger. Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er, nodded, and turned around again. The whip was in Yi Er's hand, and what she had thrown at Jiang Zhao was only a slap. When her slap landed, she was afraid that she would hit the wound on his back, so she pushed his shoulder to face him and slapped his chest. She sobbed and scolded at the top of her voice, "Woo! Jiang Zhao! You bastard! Your conscience has been eaten by the Ouyang Yen. You're so despicable. Woo! I'll just beat you to death, you bastard." Yi Er's hair was messy and she was wearing very little. Everyone in the room watched her throw a tantrum, but no one went to stop her. Who couldn't see that she was slapping him again and again? Her palms were empty. There were only sounds, but she didn't use any strength. She used more strength when she cried than when she hit him. Old Madam's heart ached. She tugged at Old Master Zhang's hand. "Old man, you've really sinned." Old Master Zhang sighed. "Sinned." Yi Er suddenly hugged Jiang Zhao's neck. She clenched her fists and hit his shoulders. She cried and shouted angrily, "Have you been beaten, silly? I've hit you so hard. Don't you feel pain?" She leaned into his ear and whispered in a sobbing voice, If you don't feel pain, Dad will still hit you. Are you transformed from a pig?" Jiang Zhao's heart ached. He slowly reached out and hugged Yi Er. His palm wrapped around the back of her head and pressed against his shoulders tightly. He closed his eyes and the corners of his mouth opened. He breathed out shakily and choked out, "Yunyi. Yunyi, don't worry about it." Jiang Zhao tried to make his voice softer. In fact, it was worth it to be whipped a few more times. It would be best if he couldn't get out of bed. Then, she wouldn't have the heart to argue with him. Yi Er let go of Jiang Zhao. She turned around and looked at Jiang Liqing weakly. "Dad, look, I've hit you. Please, please don't hit me, okay?" Jiang Zhao pulled Yi Er's wrist. "Yinyi, it's okay." Yi Er glared at Jiang Zhao. He walked to Jiang Liqing's side and teased his son with a smile. "Mian, tell Grandpa not to be angry, okay? Mian, tell Grandpa that everything goes well." Mian reached out his chubby hand to grab Jiang Liqing's epaulette. The epaulette that represented the military rank had a silent dignity. Mian leaned over and kissed Jiang Liqing's face. Then he said, "Grandpa, everything goes well. Mian wants this." The whole family laughed. "Huh, you little brat. You're not even 2 years old yet you want either a whip or an epaulette. Come, let Grandpa kiss you." Then he kissed Mian's soft little face. Yi Er saw this and quickly picked up the coat on the ground and put it on Jiang Zhao. Jiang Rui threw Mian into Jiang Liqing's arms so that he wouldn't be free. He also instigated Mian. Mian, Grandpa has a gun. Kiss Grandpa a few more times and let him bring you to play with guns. Jiang Rui made a shooting gesture for Mian to see and added, Pia. Pia. He tempted Mian. A boy's toys were always guns or cars. Mian was no exception. When she heard Jiang Rui say that Jiang Liqing had a gun, she reached out and hugged Jiang Liqing's neck excitedly. "I love Grandpa, I love Grandpa. Grandpa is the most handsome." Then she laughed and snuggled into Jiang Liqing's neck. Everyone in the Jiang family said that Mian was a little devil, but they all liked this little devil very much. Although he was mischievous, he spoke early and knew how to flatter. Xiang Wan and Jiang Rui had a good relationship. The child was also influenced by his parents and did not cry easily. Xiang Wan often taught Mian to please old Master Jiang and old Madame Jiang. At this time, the little devil used this method on Jiang Liqing and it was very effective. Once Jiang Liqing was entangled with Mian, Qin Rongfang, old Master Jiang, and old Madame Jiang quickly went over to surround them. Old Madame Jiang was fanning at the side. Mian, Grandpa is going to die from your flattery. Haha. Xiang Wan walked to Jiang Rui's side and touched Mian's neck. Baby, Grandpa's shooting skills are very accurate. He looks so handsome when he shoots. He's a sharpshooter. Can our baby learn how to shoot from Grandpa in the future? Jiang Liqing couldn't stand it when he heard someone flattering him. Mian hugged Jiang Liqing excitedly and refused to let go. I love Grandpa. Grandpa is handsome. Let's shoot. BIA. Yi Er dragged Jiang Zhao away. Jiang Zhao didn't want to and couldn't. Yi Er gently tugged at old Madame Jiang's sleeve. Grandma, can you tell Dad that we're leaving first? Old Madame Jiang couldn't wait for Jiang Zhao to leave quickly. She turned her head. Liqing, Mian was still making a fuss on the plane from Jiang district. Now that he's not making a fuss anymore, he likes you a lot. Can you help him play with you? Jiang Liqing wasn't a fool. How could he not see that his family was getting along well? After all, he was old now. He wasn't as hot-blooded as he used to be when he was young. He had used all his strength to whip Mian twice and saw blood. Just like what his father-in-law said, Mian had been recuperating for half a month. In fact, his heart ached for her too. Hence, he carried Mian and walked out of the hall. When he passed by Jiang Zhao, he said, "Go back and reflect on yourself." Old Madame Jiang pushed Jiang Zhao and said with a sullen face, "Why aren't you going back with your wife? We won't let you stay for dinner today." Old Madame Jiang wasn't sure if Jiang Liqing would throw a tantrum again after a while, so she felt more at ease sending him away. Yi Er forgot to exchange pleasantries with the whole family and hurriedly pulled Jiang Zhao away. Qin Fian sat on the swing in the side courtyard. It wasn't that he didn't hear the commotion in the main hall. It was so loud that it was hard not to hear it. He thought to himself that the 2 whippings he took today were worth it. He raised his wrist and looked at the time. The surface of the watch was clean and bright, and the diamond inside shone brightly under the sunlight. He tapped the surface of the watch with his other hand and chuckled. Fake watch, what a beautiful fake watch. Jiang Zhao thought that the matter was over. Since Yi Er had jumped out to help him, he thought that since he had already lost his face, why should he care? It turned out that there was no difference between losing face once and losing it 10 times. Hence, he sat in the front passenger seat and pulled Yi Er's hand. "Honey, I'm hungry." The tears on Yi Er's face had dried, and his face was as cold as it was in the morning. He swung his arm and slapped Jiang Zhao's hand away. "Stay away from me. I told you this morning not to touch me." "Oh." Jiang Zhao retracted his hand. He couldn't even pretend to be cool when he was in the wrong. "But you touched me first. I'm not going to talk nonsense with you. I'm sending you back now." "What about you?" "I'm going out to look for a house." Jiang Zhao knew. Yi Er groaned in her heart. "You don't have to move. I'll move. Don't let Dad find out. Just say that I'm on a business trip. You saw for yourself that Dad wasn't around today." This means that the Jiang and Qin families didn't tell Dad about this. You don't want him to worry, right? After all, in his eyes, we are still very loving. He has a weak heart, right? Yi Er drove the car. She thought that this was good too. She didn't want to agitate Dad. Beauty novel, Songshu 566. Chapter 634. He could have stayed silent, but Jiang Zhao asked shamelessly, "Yin Yi, why did you help me just now?" Yi Er answered against her will, "I don't think violence can solve problems." "All right, let's not talk about it anymore." Jiang Zhao said dejectedly, if you don't want to tell me, I won't ask. Help me apply medicine on my back when we get back. Yi Er held the steering wheel and rolled her eyes at Jiang Zhao. Don't you know there's a mirror at home? Do it yourself. You. Jiang Zhao straightened his back and almost hissed in pain. He couldn't pretend to be calm anymore. He wanted to say that he could move out, but his back was injured and it would be convenient for her to help him apply medicine if he stayed at home to recuperate for 2 days. 2 days was 2 days, but she was so ruthless. How do I apply medicine on your back? I can't turn my hand. There are beauty salons and massage parlors in the neighborhood. Take your medicine and give them some money to apply it for you. Yi Er snorted coldly after she said that. In this world, everything will turn if you leave someone. I don't believe that you can let your back rot without me applying medicine for you. If you really can't do it, there are so many servants in the Qin family. You can go back to the Qin family every day to eat with them. Yun Yi. A day as husband and wife means endless devotion for the rest of your life. That's how you are. Jiang Zhao couldn't care less and started to take advantage of her. Yes, it was broken when you did that stupid thing yesterday. What's there to be grateful for? Yi Er's temper was like that of a hooligan. She was already a broken jar in front of Jiang Zhao, so she wasn't afraid of falling. But you helped me just now. Jiang Zhao was so anxious that his neck turned stiff. I was impulsive. Now that I think about it, why did I do that? You're going to be someone else's husband in the future. I'm protecting you so well, so I'm protecting her. I'll stop the car and you can take a taxi back to get whipped. Yi Er said heartlessly and really stepped on the brakes. Get out of the car. Why should I get out of the car? Go back and get whipped. Out of sight, out of mind. Yin Yi, you're such a dishonest woman. Jiang Zhao gnashed his teeth. Yi Er sneered, you can't wait for me to die. If I die, you'll write widowed in your book. Then you can openly marry that living woman, right? Hurry up and go. Hurry up and live together. I can't be bothered to look. Jiang Zhao reclined his chair and glared at Yi Er before falling down. There was a wound on his back, and it hurt so much that his flesh twitched. He was too embarrassed to scream, so he immediately turned his back to Yi Er and ignored her. Yi Er thought to herself that he had finally stopped. She really didn't want to talk nonsense with him. Her heart ached when she saw him injured, but when she saw him alive and kicking, she felt annoyed. She was just asking for it. Yi Er and Jiang Zhao returned to 9th Mansion. When the elevator door opened and they walked out, they saw Yun Hongwei standing at the door with a worried expression. Yi Er panicked. Oh no, she had seen the marks on her face in the morning. They were no longer swollen, but there were still some marks. Yun Hongwei walked over quickly, but he didn't seem to care about them at all. The moment he arrived, he reprimanded them, if you two want to eat supper, then eat supper. Why did you fight with a hooligan? Yin Yi, you're not young anymore. You should be clear about your status. Don't be like how you were in the past, stirring up trouble for no reason. You went out to eat supper in the middle of the night and even provoked little hooligans. You want Jiang Zhao to clean up your mess. Yi Er was stunned by the scolding. What? Fight with little hooligans? Jiang Zhao didn't dare to make a sound. He was afraid that he would say something wrong. Yun Hongwei looked at Yi Er's bruises on her face and her speechless expression. He was angry again. He glared at Yi Er and continued scolding her. If Fian hadn't come over to take Jiang Zhao's things, I wouldn't have known. You're not allowed to go out to eat supper in the future. Jiang Zhao is in politics. Damn it, how could he go to the police station? Don't you know your father-in-law's temper? If he's unhappy, he'll beat you up again. Yun Hongwei wasn't worried about Jiang Zhao and Yi Er because it wasn't their first day away from home. Young people like to be romantic, and he didn't object, so he didn't care. He didn't expect to be frightened by Qin Fian. Qin Fian came over early in the morning with Jiang Liqing before the sun rose. Jiang Liqing was afraid that he would expose the matter as soon as he went upstairs. He couldn't control his temper, so he asked Qin Fian to go upstairs and check if Jiang Zhao and Yi Er didn't bring their phones. Qin Fian knew that he couldn't say too much, so he stammered to see Yun Hongwei's reaction. Yun Hongwei didn't think too much about it. He led Qin Fian into the house and said politely, "Fian, Jiang Zhao and Yi Er went out to eat supper last night and haven't come back yet. They're probably staying outside. If you want to find Jiang Zhao, I'm afraid you'll have to wait for a while." Qin Fian's mind was working very fast at this moment. He thought about how Yi Er had beaten him last night and continued stammering. Hey, Uncle Yun. What's wrong? Didn't my brother go out to eat supper with sister-in-law last night?" Qin Fian glanced at Yun Hongwei. He looked like he wanted to say something but stopped. He was actually waiting for Yun Hongwei to reveal more information. Yun Hongwei knew that Qin Fian and Jiang Zhao had a good relationship and treated everyone well. Moreover, Qin Fian looked like he wanted to say something but didn't dare to. Yun Hongwei was worried sick. He thought that something big must have happened, so he asked anxiously, "Did something happen?" "Last night, Yi Er wanted to eat supper, but Jiang Zhao said it was too late. She got angry and ran away. Jiang Zhao only put on a coat and chased after her. He said he would take her out to eat and hasn't come back yet." "Uncle Yun." Qin Fian pulled Yun Hongwei into the living room. "I'm going upstairs to my brother's room to get something." "Something happened to him?" Yun Hongwei asked anxiously. Qin Fian sighed. "Didn't he take sister-in-law out for supper last night? Who knew that both of them would go to a roadside stall to eat? In the end, they met a few drunk hooligans who were flirting with my sister-in-law. How can my brother tolerate it? He got into a fight with them, and he is still in the police station. Last night, there were a few new policemen on duty. They refuse to believe that my brother is the deputy mayor and refuse to let her go." "What?" Yun Hongwei was so angry that he was speechless. "This is outrageous." "But Jiang Zhao was dressed like that yesterday. No one will believe him. Who would wear a coat during the winter? No one will believe that he would eat at a roadside stall." Qin Fian patted Yun Hongwei's back and started to threaten him. "Uncle Yun, don't be anxious. You must not make a fuss about this. My eldest uncle is still angry and wants to get Yi Er out. Although it is easy for him to get Yi Er out, he still wants to save his face. If you throw a tantrum again, my eldest uncle will surely beat my brother up. You must bear with it. My brother is also trying to protect sister-in-law. That's why he got into a fight with those hooligans. Am I right?" Yun Hongwei listened to Qin Fian's analysis. "How can he lose his temper? I'm going to deliver some clothes to Jiang Zhao. Last night, I saw that he was only wearing a coat and nothing underneath." "Don't." Qin Fian put his arm around Yun Hongwei's shoulder, pushed up his glasses, and pushed him to sit on the sofa. "Uncle Yun, you don't know my uncle-in-law's temper. Even if you are his in-laws, he still wants to save face. Now that he's in the police station looking for someone, if you go, he will definitely feel that he has lost all his face. He will definitely vent his anger on my brother. He will definitely say that my brother made him unable to straighten his back. He will feel that he has never bent his back in his life, you know? Don't take the clothes. My uncle-in-law will definitely throw them away when he sees them. He will definitely say, forget about the coldness of this wolf cub. Let's end this once and for all." Qin Fian went upstairs alone and entered Jiang Zhao's bedroom. He called both of their mobile phones, and they were still in their pockets. After confirming that they did not bring their mobile phones with them, he went downstairs. As long as they did not deliberately ignore their family's calls, it meant that they were not so weak that they could not be dealt with. Yun Hongwei was basically frightened by Qin Fian. Until Qin Fian left, he was anxious and did not dare to go to the police station to take a look. Only after he left did he realize that he did not even ask which police station Qin Fian was locked up in. Jiang Zhao listened to Yun Hongwei's words. Little hooligan? Locked up in the police station? Good lord, Fian was really his biological brother. Now the wound on Yi Er's face had a source. He hugged Yi Er's shoulder. Dad, it won't happen again. Yi Er was very cooperative and stuck to Jiang Zhao's embrace without moving. Jiang Zhao smiled. Yun Hongwei stood in the same place. Go in, he said coldly. Jiang Zhao looked at Yun Hongwei's expression as he glared at Yi Er. There seemed to be a kind of anger in his expression. If it was any other time, he would have to explain and protect his wife. But now that he was at a low point, Yi Er also had the intention to help him cover it up. And the purpose of covering it up was clear to him. Yun Hongwei wanted Yi Er to be happy, and Yi Er was also afraid that Yun Hongwei would be worried. It was not that he was heartless or unjust, but at this time, he also had no other choice. Yi Er now had the intention to fight to the death with him. He had to think of a way not to move. He walked to the shoe cabinet and changed his shoes. He bent down and frowned painfully. A hard-to-suppress groan came out of his mouth. On the way back, Yi Er had told himself that he had to be more ruthless with him. After all, he had already been whipped and no one would continue to hit him. Leaving the wound would be good as a lesson for him. So when Jiang Zhao cried out in pain, Yi Er pretended not to see. He changed his shoes and went upstairs. Jiang Zhao knew that Yi Er would ignore him, so he was not surprised. But Yun Hongwei played right into his hands. He came over and asked, Jiang Zhao, what's wrong? Jiang Zhao said a little embarrassedly, Dad, it's nothing. After saying that, he straightened his back unnaturally. He purposely tried to separate his back from the material of his clothes. The large lapel in front of his chest exposed his chest. This looked really undignified and very comical. Yun Hongwei had always known that Jiang Zhao was a person who placed a lot of emphasis on appearance. The things in the house were placed very neatly and were very clearly categorized. There were some small drawers under the big tea machine in front of the sofa. What things were placed in each drawer was carefully categorized. The remote control was all placed together and could not be thrown around randomly. Although his clothes were not fashionable, he had always been meticulous. Today's messy and undignified appearance made Yun Hongwei a little worried. Is your back hurt? In Yun Hongwei's eyes, Jiang Zhao stooped and stood up with his back leaning back because he was afraid of touching his back. The wrinkles on his eyebrows couldn't be for no reason. Was it the little hooligan that Qin Fian mentioned? Or was it his in-law's whip? No. How could there be such a thing? Jiang Zhao deliberately made it look like he was panicking because he had been guessed correctly. Then, he shuffled his slippers as if he was trying to escape quickly. Yun Hongwei was an elder. Jiang Zhao called him Dad and also cared for Yi Er very much. Yun Hongwei saw it all. His son-in-law was good to his daughter, so what more could he ask for? He was definitely satisfied with Jiang Zhao. At this moment, he was dodging because he was afraid that he would worry. Jiang Zhao, take off your jacket. Yun Hongwei was unwilling to let Jiang Zhao go. Dad, why do I have to take off my jacket? It's so cold. The temperature in the house is constant. There's also floor heating. How can it be cold? Come and see Xinwu 799. Chapter 635. After a long period of stalemate, Jiang Zhao, reluctantly, took off his jacket, revealing his perfect upper body that was firm and not too fat. Then, under Yun Hongwei's request, he reluctantly turned his back around, revealing his bloodied back to Yun Hongwei. When he heard Yun Hongwei running to the stairs in the hall, he shouted angrily upstairs, Yun Yi, get down here. A sinister smile appeared on his face, as if his plan had succeeded. Yun Hongwei rarely used the word get lost, so he was furious. Jiang Zhao leisurely prepared to put on his clothes. Anyway, Yun Hongwei was the only one in the family who could control Yi Er, so he couldn't blame him for using Yun Hongwei against her. Who told her not to reconcile with him? Who told her to be so fierce? Who told her to say one thing and mean another? Who told him to want to reconcile with her? As soon as Yun Hongwei finished shouting, he turned around and saw Jiang Zhao about to put on his coat. He immediately stopped him. Jiang Zhao, what are you doing? Don't wear it. Look at your back. It's completely burnt. Your clothes are dirty. It'll get infected. Jiang Zhao said, oh. He snorted and said, I'm fine. He didn't even care about his wife. If it got infected, so be it. When Yi Er heard Yun Hongwei shouting for her so loudly, she immediately ran downstairs. To be honest, it was already past noon and she hadn't eaten yet. She was starving, but she didn't feel dizzy at all. It was really strange. When she ran downstairs and saw Jiang Zhao shirtless, she was stunned. After a moment of clarity, she said, Jiang Zhao, what are you doing? Yun Yi. Go and take a look at your husband's back. Yun Hongwei was furious. He knew that Yi Er was throwing a tantrum and ignoring Jiang Zhao because she was unhappy about something. Did he waste his time talking to her? Even if she was throwing a tantrum, her husband, the pillar of the family, was severely whipped. How could she run upstairs like this? Jiang Zhao said embarrassedly, Dad, I already said that it's fine. Yun Hongwei did not answer Jiang Zhao. Instead, he looked at Yi Er and said coldly, Yun Yi, take Jiang Zhao to the hospital immediately. Otherwise, he will be infected. When Yi Er saw Jiang Zhao's pitiful look, he got angry. Really, who didn't know how to act pitiful? She knew how to do it too. This was something she used to do often in the past. Besides, because of her today, his injuries were already very light. If he went to the hospital again, oh, wouldn't he immediately be alive and kicking? Isn't it just 2 whips? It's not like it's 10 lashes. Just apply some medicine at home. Why do you need to go to the hospital? In fact, Jiang Zhao knew that the wound on his back had already split open. His back was soaked with sweat, and there was the smell of blood. His father's whip was made of real leather, and it was very tight. The 2 whips were also very heavy. Even though he was old now and his skin was thicker, he would still be seriously injured when the whips hit him. He was a man. 2 lashes was nothing to shout about. He didn't want to shout either, but if he didn't shout, the child wouldn't have milk to drink. Yun Yi, don't you dare mock and ridicule me like this again. Yun Hongwei roared at Yi Er. Jiang Zhao didn't mind Yi Er's heartless words. She deserved to be vicious, and he deserved to be scolded. If he were to get angry with her now, he would really be too much of a jerk. Jiang Zhao picked up his clothes. It's fine. It's winter now. There's no such thing as an infection. It'll be fine once it dries and forms a scab. Yi Er had actually been avoiding looking at Jiang Zhao's wound. She would feel better if she didn't see it. Just like that time, when the whips hit him, the wound immediately opened. Anyway, she could be ruthless if she didn't see it. When she saw it later, her heart would definitely soften. Just as she was about to turn around, Jiang Zhao's movements were faster than hers. He walked past her, leaving her with a sinister view of his back. His back was covered in blood. The wound was still wet. As it hadn't been treated, it rubbed against his clothes and didn't show any signs of drying. She cursed in her heart. You're ruthless. Yi Er. Yun Hongwei sent Jiang Zhao to the hospital. If it were any other time, Yun Hongwei wouldn't have followed, but now he was worried. He was worried that his daughter wouldn't be considerate of her husband. He had to keep an eye on him. Where else could he find such a good son-in-law? The doctor kept muttering, oh my God, this wound is really too scary. The doctor said that if he found it troublesome, he could come to the hospital every day to change his dressing. In the end, Jiang Zhao took some medicine home. He said to Yun Hongwei, it's better to take the medicine home. It's convenient to have a mirror at home anyway. It's a waste of time to go to the hospital. Yun Hongwei glared at Yi Er. Remember to change Jiang Zhao's dressing every day. Jiang Zhao turned his face away and pretended not to see Yi Er's eyes that looked like he wanted to eat him up. The two of them didn't eat. They found a restaurant to eat and then went home. When they got home, Jiang Zhao was chased to another room by Yi Er. "Call me when it's time to change his dressing," Yi Er said and closed the door for Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao smiled. Anyway, he didn't have to move now. His father-in-law would keep an eye on him. As long as he didn't say that he had to go on a business trip, Yi Er couldn't do anything to him. It was easier to do things when you had the cards in your hands. Therefore, having an elder at home was like having a treasure. This was definitely a wise saying. Jiang Zhao didn't pester Yi Er. Yi Er could finally breathe a sigh of relief. He was too tired and wanted to sleep. Jiang Zhao lay on the bed and twirled his phone between his fingers. After playing with it for a while, he swiped open the interface and found Zhuang Yichen's number. He dialed it. Zhuang Yichen was at Xingchen Building. After an emergency meeting, the door to the conference room was pushed open. Li Yong, who was in his 40s, walked over with Zhuang Yichen's phone and handed it to him. "Young master, there's a call." Between his steps, there was a heavy and powerful aura. A man like this could only be looked at and not touched. This was because although a man who didn't smile was cool, he was also very fierce. Dozens of secretaries who wanted to flirt with him had been replaced. Now that the atmosphere in the office was good, not many people were willing to risk losing their jobs to give hearts to this cold man. Zhuang Yichen held the phone but didn't pick it up. He walked straight to the CEO's office. Li Yong opened the door for him. Zhuang Yichen said in a rare and amiable tone, "Uncle Li, please close the door for me." In the whole of Xingchen, only Li Yong had such treatment. Li Yong basically knew everything about Zhuang Yichen, including his private matters. Li Yong nodded and waited for Zhuang Yichen to enter the office before closing the door. Zhuang Yichen picked up the phone and sat down in his office chair. The cold air dissipated a lot. "Brother Zhao, you're not working today?" Jiang Zhao sat up from the bed and raised his handsome eyebrows slightly. The wound on his back was slightly pulled, but he didn't care. He didn't panic at Zhuang Yichen's straightforward question. After raising his handsome eyebrows, he slightly lowered them. When his eyes darkened, he slightly narrowed his eyes and a faint evil aura overflowed. It seemed that Zhuang Yichen had also heard about it. The family Ouyang was really capable. He seemed to be amiable. "Heh, you know that too." Zhuang Yichen laughed twice. As the saying goes, good things don't leave the house, but bad things spread far and wide. But I don't think a romantic history is a bad thing. Am I right? Jiang Zhao touched his eyebrows and said in a casual tone, "Yes, I think so too. For example, the day before yesterday, I found out about a very interesting romantic history from Yunyi. It happened the day before yesterday." It was too shocking. Zhuang Yichen knew that Jiang Zhao was trying to provoke him. It was the same last time, so he didn't want to fall into his trap. The day before yesterday? Was it about Qiu Xiaoya again? It seemed that this woman was living too comfortably. Heh, only you would listen to a woman's words so enthusiastically. Huh, interesting words. It sounds quite interesting. But you won't be interested in knowing, so I won't talk about it with you. Jiang Zhao knew that he had successfully tickled Zhuang Yichen, so he stopped the topic and said, "Since you know, I won't beat around the bush with you. You know that Ouyang Sheng has 3 underground casinos, right?" Zhuang Yichen sat in his sunny office. The business behind his back was not much cleaner. So in Haiqing's social circle, there were many wealthy families who appeared to be clean on the surface but were secretly involved in shady businesses like him. He found out about last night's incident early in the morning. Family Ouyang had servants with big mouths, so the secrets of wealthy families spread very quickly. "I know." "Huh, you're not going to admit it after eating, right?" "Yes, I'm a pervert," Jiang Zhao said without a hint of guilt. Besides, he really didn't feel that he was a pervert. "Brother Zhao, that's not very kind." Actually, it just shows that you're not a good person. Other people can have a wife at home and a concubine outside. Tell me, why didn't you implement this policy properly? I'm old, so I can't learn from you young people. I have to deal with both my ex and the current one. How can I have the energy to do that? Zhuang Yichen's face darkened. How could he not understand Jiang Zhao's meaning? You really don't have the energy now. Tell me, where do you want to put your energy? Ouyang Sheng has 2 underground casinos in Haicheng. You know that. Yes, I know. Zhuang Yichen thought to himself, in this life, you can mess with anyone but Jiang Zhao. Whatever you do, don't let him know. Otherwise, if he's unhappy one day, he'll definitely destroy your nest. How's the business of your casinos? Jiang Zhao asked calmly. Thanks to you, I can make a living. Zhuang Yichen laughed dryly. Jiang Zhao was always like this. He could have asked, what's the benefit? But instead, he used words to shut him up. Jiang Zhao asked, how many people are selling firecrackers in your place? In written language, firecrackers are called loan sharks. I don't care. My subordinates are. If he were to take care of the loan sharks, he wouldn't have to do anything else. Then tell the manager tonight to let the firecrackers bring some of your guests to Ouyang Sheng's place to gamble. His nephew is in charge of the casino in the west corner. As long as you see him there, make some trouble. Remember, you must only make trouble when his nephew is there. That guy is timid and can't take it. He's just an embroidered pillow. Huh, Brother Zhao, if my men go in, you have to get them out. I don't believe that people can keep their mouths shut these days. Although Zhuang Yichen knew that there was a risk, he believed that Jiang Zhao had the ability. They had been in a difficult situation for many years, so they were confident. Yes, I know. I'll make the arrangements. Zhuang Yichen listened to the phone and nodded. He asked again, since you know where his casino is, why don't you just destroy it and show him who's boss? Don't tell me you only want to expose his nephew and damage his reputation a little. He didn't believe that Jiang Zhao was someone who would go easy on him. What do you mean by showing him who's boss? The Zhuo family is working on a big project with the family Ouyang. I can't damage the Zhuo family's interests for my own matters. I can't make it too ugly on the surface. When the project ends in March next year, I'll deal with him. So now, I can't let him feel that I'm messing with him. If I drag someone over to destroy his casino, he'll definitely guess that it's me and be on guard. But I have to vent my anger and damage his reputation. It'll affect his business and reputation, and fine him a huge sum of money. Welfare, Xinwu 799. Chapter 636. Don't be so scheming. If you're so cruel, I'll be scared to be in the same boat as you. You're really calculating. Once something happens to the family Ouyang, if the family Ouyang breaches the contract and can't participate, the Zhuo family will get all the benefits. After Zhuang Yichen finished speaking, he laughed out loud. Hey, Brother Zhao, perhaps we are related by blood. Maybe we are related by blood. When will you help me get rid of my business partners like this? Jiang Zhao stretched his neck and stretched. Now that you mention it, I think so too. Maybe you were the same family 500 years ago. Look at the few big underground casinos in Haicheng now. Which one of them isn't full? If Ouyang Sheng's 2 casinos collapse, you'll take over his bets. How much more money will you have to make? Aren't I helping you? Haha. Zhuang Yichen lifted his legs and rested them on the desk. He leaned lazily against the office chair and smiled. That's why I said we're brothers, haha. Yi Er wanted to sleep, but he couldn't fall asleep because of the laughter coming from Jiang Zhao's room. How could he still laugh? How could he still have the cheek to laugh? It was annoying to hear him laugh. She called Xiu Xiaoya and asked if the shop opposite, had been sold out. At that time, she had used the money from selling her house to bribe Jiang Zhao, but later she had sold her body. Jiang Zhao had returned her bank card, which was a large sum of money. She had to think of a way to start a business. Sometimes, when she thought about it, Xiaoya was really enviable. She had such a high income. She always felt that it was good to keep some money. No matter how many cards Jiang Zhao gave her, she still saved up the money from selling the house. Ever since she got together with Jiang Zhao, she hadn't thought of using this money. After all, there were too many unstable factors. But now that she wanted to separate and had a plan, it was better not to spend his money. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to explain herself. Xiaoya said, "No, I didn't. I went to take a look yesterday. If you don't want it, I want to take it down and open a restaurant." "You're also interested in catering?" Xiaoya raised her eyebrows proudly. "My grandfather used to be a chef, okay? Of course, I'm interested. My cooking shouldn't be worse than yours." "Then your brother Zhuang is in for a treat." Xiaoya was stunned for 2 seconds. Heh, he doesn't like it. They had never eaten together at home, and had only eaten a few meals outside. He did not know that she knew how to cook. "Aya, then cook it for me and Qian another day. I want to eat it ready-made." As long as Jiang Zhao was in the house, she was the one who cooked. She was also picky. The food made by the auntie did not taste good. If someone made delicious food for her, she would be more than happy. "I want to collect money," Xiaoya said. "Did you make money?" Xiaoya clenched her little fists and said confidently, "Of course. Making money is my brightest goal in life. Making money is the happiest thing in my life." Okay. Boss Chiu, you'll definitely be a big entrepreneur in the future. How about this? I'll look for you tomorrow. You know a lot. Help me take a look at the shop and give me some advice. Okay, it's free. Just treat me to a meal at Sea Moon Restaurant. You're so generous. Jiang Zhao hung up the phone. He could only lie down to rest. He was not used to sleeping like this. Thus, he held his phone in his hand and scrolled through the photos. When he saw Yi Er's side profile, he was very satisfied. He typed a message and sent it to Yi Er. "Honey, when are we going to take a set of wedding photos?" Jiang Zhao kept staring at the screen until he almost fell asleep, but he did not receive a reply. God, they were living under the same roof, and she was already so arrogant. What if she was still like this when she went to class or opened the shop? Wouldn't he be worried sick if she didn't answer his calls or reply to his messages all day long? He got out of bed and opened the door. Their room was at the end of the right, so it was only a few steps away. He gently turned the lock. It was not locked from the inside. A crack slowly opened. The woman on the bed was sleeping very soundly. After a day and night of torment, it was hard not to be tired. He took off his slippers, climbed onto the bed, and lay down beside her. He snuggled closer to her, but it was not enough. He put his arm around her waist. It was more comfortable hugging her, so he snuggled closer. Then, both of their breaths began to even out. In the family Ouyang's old mansion, Ouyang Yan had been sitting at the top of the stairs ever since the Qin and Jiang families left. Ouyang Sheng was anxious, but it was useless. "Yun, don't keep quiet. Say it. Yun, tell Grandpa what you want. Grandpa will satisfy you. What do you want to do? Eat something." Ouyang Yan slowly raised his head. His face was bruised, and his eyes were red and swollen. Tears rolled out of his eyes. His voice was cold, and when he gritted his teeth, he said viciously, "Grandpa, I want Yuni to die a horrible death. I want her to die a horrible death. No, I don't want her to die. I want her to live a life worse than death. I want her family to be destroyed, and she will be betrayed by everyone. She will not have a good ending." Ouyang Sheng was bent over to comfort his granddaughter. At this moment, he slowly stood up straight. His eyes were cold as snow, and he nodded. "Go eat. Grandpa agrees." When Yi Er woke up and found Jiang Zhao sleeping with her, she was furious. When she sat up, she scolded, "Jiang Zhao, how can you be so shameless? I didn't want to sleep here. I came over to ask you to help me look at my back. You pulled me to sleep next to you in a daze. I thought you missed me." After Jiang Zhao finished speaking, he calmly got out of bed, then went out the door and returned to his room. Yi Er was so angry that her blood pressure shot up. Was it because she was old that she couldn't take it? Although Grandma Bai told Jiang Zhao that she wouldn't let them stay for dinner, it seemed that she didn't want to see him. But after dinner, Jiang Rui and Xiang Wan still carried Mian Mian and brought some toys to number 9 mansion. Yi Er served them tea. Jiang Rui and Jiang Zhao went to the study. Yi Er, Xiang Wan, and Mian Mian played games in the living room. A pile of building blocks was on the ground, and the three of them sat around the building blocks. It was very comfortable to sit on the ground in a house with floor heating. Xiang Wan praised Yi Er for being able to make children happy. It was really rare. Yi Er put the building blocks in front of Mian Mian and said, "Because I have a younger brother at home. I've been playing with him since young. For the past 2 years, I've been taking care of him, so it's not a problem to make children happy." Xiang Wan took out the building blocks under Mian Mian's butt and threw them in front of him. Without looking at Yi Er, she said, "Yi Er, I heard from Grandma about what happened yesterday. Jiang Zhao must have been set up." Yi Er's hands paused for a moment. "Sister-in-law, if Big Brother gave his house to his ex-girlfriend, and you still brought him home in the middle of the night from his ex-girlfriend's house and caught him in bed again, would you believe that he's innocent?" Xiang Wan looked up and saw the tears in Yi Er's eyes. She couldn't bear to see him like this. "I heard from Fian that you're getting a divorce. Fian only told your brother and me. He didn't tell the elders at home. You know, the elders at home are all old. Grandma didn't even come to your engagement party. She doesn't like to take a plane, but she came this time." Yi Er lowered her head. The elders couldn't be angry. She knew, Mian Mian had put all the building blocks on the ground. Xiang Wan said, "Darling, let's take another train." Then she continued to talk to Yi Er. "Yi Er, Fian said that he believes Jiang Zhao. But from what I see, Jiang Zhao is in the wrong. He didn't draw a clear line between himself and his ex-girlfriend, which led to this outcome." When Yi Er heard Xiang Wan's consolation, the grievances in her heart finally came out. Someone could understand her. Finally, someone spoke up for her. She took a deep breath to stop her tears from falling. Xiang Wan saw that Yi Er's emotions were released and patted her shoulder. "Today, I've talked to Jiang Rui about this. Jiang Rui also had an ex-girlfriend who came to pester him. But when I was with him, he also went to have a meal with his ex-girlfriend. I also bumped into them." Yi Er looked at Xiang Wan with a shocked expression. Was this the fate of a rich man's wife? But Xiang Wan said, "But after I made a fuss, they didn't contact each other anymore." Yi Er lamented that she had a bad life. Xiang Wan changed the topic and looked at Yi Er with a gentle gaze. "But Yi Er, Jiang Zhao's situation is different. His ex-girlfriend's situation is also different. Although Jiang Zhao's ex-girlfriend started dating when he was in university, there was no conflict of interest between their families. Once they broke up, they didn't contact each other at all. But Jiang Zhao's ex-girlfriend is different. The family Ouyang is so powerful in Haicheng and has been working closely with the Qin and Zhuo families for many years. Jiang Zhao wouldn't be as heartless as Jiang Zhao when dealing with this issue. Jiang Rui told me that with Jiang Zhao's character, if he really loved you, he wouldn't have married you. With the Qin family's means, even if you threatened him in public, it wouldn't work. Jiang Zhao has deep feelings for you. Otherwise, why would he marry you after being single for so many years? There are so many women in Haicheng who want to marry him. As for that girl from the Zheng family, Grandma always said that she used all kinds of means to get him. Only after Jiang Zhao got married did she stop." Yi Er listened to Xiang Wan's words and thought about how Jiang Zhao said that he would never forget the time when she said that she wanted to marry him. "Sister-in-law, I understand what you're saying, but, Xiangwan smiled. I didn't ask you to forgive him. Men should suffer a little. Let's see if he still dares to do that in the future. Yi Er lowered his head and held his forehead. His voice was weak. I feel that we won't have a future. Sister-in-law, you won't be able to understand this feeling. Xiangwan knew that she couldn't confide in Yi Er anymore. She straightened her back and patted Yi Er's dispirited shoulder. Then let's just ignore him. Let's eat and sleep. We can't let ourselves suffer because of a man, right? Sister-in-law will support you if you get a divorce. What's so good about this kind of man? He doesn't have any good points. We should get a divorce. We're so young and beautiful, why can't we find someone better than him? Who does Jiang Zhao think he is? He's an arrogant person. When I look at him, I feel that other than his good looks, he's also fierce and cold, as if he's from the mafia. He's definitely a domestic abuser. How much money can a lousy mayor have? He can't even live a good life. What's the use of him? Let me tell you, he's a very realistic person. He's always scheming against Jiang Rui. He's definitely a miser. He's definitely calculative in everything he does. Men shouldn't be with such calculative people. Even if he does something for you, he'll calculate the returns. It's so boring to live with such a man. I'm so angry. Welfare, Xinwu 799. Chapter 637. Yi Er looked at Xiangwan in surprise. Was his sister-in-law pretending to change her expression? She was still being gentle and soft just a moment ago, but now she was talking about Jiang Zhao. Why did she become so aggressive? His sister-in-law was quite pretty. Her eyes were bright, her skin was fair and smooth, and her long hair was tied behind her neck. She was such a gentle and beautiful woman. She would be a good match for a handsome man like Jiang Rui. But why did she have no self-restraint when she spoke? Xiangwan saw the change in Yi Er's eyes and knew that Yi Er was starting to feel conflicted. Since her goal had been achieved, she continued to persuade him. Let's not bother about Jiang Zhao or Jiang Zhao anymore. There are a lot of rich young masters like him in Haicheng. These guys rely on their family background to do evil. They don't uphold justice, have no sense of responsibility, and don't know how to be grateful. They treat women like clothes, sleep with them one day and throw them away the next. They're so arrogant that they don't treat women as human beings. When they're old, they drive expensive cars everywhere to pick up girls. Once they leave their families, they immediately turn into prostitutes. Divorce, let's divorce tomorrow. When we go out tomorrow, let's find someone better than him and make him vomit blood. Yi Er didn't dare to reply to Xiangwan. After hearing what she said, Yi Er instantly felt that Jiang Zhao was the most perfect man in Haicheng, in the study room. Under the influence of old Master Jiang and Qin Rongfang, Jiang Zhao didn't like coffee. Therefore, the living room and study room were equipped with a tea table and various tea sets. Although he liked tea, he didn't like the antique style of the elderly. The coffee-colored leather sofa also didn't look out of place. The two men sat opposite each other with the tea table in between. Jiang Rui slowly brewed the tea, and Jiang Zhao seemed to be extremely annoyed as he smoked. Jiang Zhao, Grandpa and Grandpa Qin mean that it's easy to make enemies. Don't mess with your family Ouyang in private. We all know that you've been set up. If you think about it, you'll be able to connect the dots. Explain it to your sister-in-law. She'll listen. Jiang Zhao pressed the cigarette into the crystal ashtray. A wisp of green smoke rose from the gray ash, but his hand kept pressing on the cigarette but in the ashtray. He repeatedly and forcefully rubbed out the ginger tobacco and the long filter, exposing the cotton inside. Staring at the tobacco and ash in the ashtray, Jiang Zhao said gloomily, "Big brother, I understand what you're saying. I also know that I've been set up. I explained to Yunyi, but she couldn't accept it and didn't want to listen to me." Jiang Zhao sighed almost inaudibly. Actually, for this matter, from your point of view, it's enough to explain it. As long as you explain it clearly and analyze it, it'll be fine. As long as you explain it clearly, it'll be fine. But, you haven't thought about it from Yunye's point of view. I have. At that time, she said that she would also find a man to sleep with and asked me to accept it. If so, she wouldn't divorce me. When I heard this, I was completely stunned. I just thought of that scene. Without any cause or effect, I picked her up from another man's bed. Just thinking about that scene, I can't think of the cause and effect. No explanation can be useful in this mood. For this kind of thing, no one can put themselves in her place. No one can think from her point of view. Only I can. Because we are husband and wife, when we think from her point of view, there will be the so-called, your pain, I'm touched by it. Yinyi doesn't want to listen to my explanation now. She doesn't even want to talk to me. I can understand her repulsion and disgust. In fact, I know what you're trying to persuade me. We can't touch the family Ouyang now. Grandpa told me a long time ago that the power field in High City is like a magnetic field. You can't break its balance at will. When Jiang Zhao raised his head, they looked at each other. The two shrewd and strong men each had their own thoughts. When Jiang Zhao said such words, Jiang Rui was deeply touched. He took a sip of tea and said, "You're right. My way of persuading you is very inappropriate. When you got married, I said that based on my understanding of you, if you don't want to marry someone, it's useless even if you put a knife to your neck. In fact, I was right, right? It's a kind of luck and a blessing that a husband and wife can be together when they have a good relationship." Fian also told me the details of what happened last night. I also saw how sister-in-law protected you today. The two of you have such a good relationship. You shouldn't separate because of some external forces. But now that it has happened, you have to deal with it calmly. You have always been a calm person. I hope you won't be too anxious and impulsive. Jiang Rui also knew that Jiang Zhao was a very vengeful person. Of course, except for Jiang Ji, who was more tolerant, the rest of the Jiang family should be vengeful. Jiang Zhao touched the tip of his nose and looked at Jiang Rui. "Brother, I'll tell you frankly. Now for the old people, I will tell them that the family Ouyang schemed against me. I don't care about it. I just don't want to have any contact with them anymore. I think it's okay to lie to them and let them be at ease. It's okay." When Jiang Zhao paused, his eyes suddenly became fierce. "But Ouyang Sheng made my family Ouyang so upset. I can't just let it go. If Yinyi can live peacefully for a while, I'm still in the mood to let it go. But if Yinyi has to divorce me because of this matter, even if all the people in the Jiang, Qin, and Zhua families oppose me against the family Ouyang, I won't let him go." Jiang Rui laughed. "I'm not surprised that you have such thoughts. If you can bear it, I won't miss you. Don't say it as if you know me very well." Jiang Zhao also laughed suddenly. "By the way, didn't Ouyang Sheng want to set up a 7-star hotel with you since the year before last? He has no experience in hotels. Why don't you ask him to pay for it?" Jiang Rui naturally knew that when Jiang Zhao said to pay for it, Ouyang Sheng probably couldn't get the money. "Huh, Jiang Zhao, I'm here to persuade you not to make trouble. You're pushing me into the pit again. Besides, it's very difficult to cheat that old guy of his money. What's so difficult about it? Our family has the strongest political relationship between Jiangzhou and High City. It's easy to get the approval. With the approval, I'm afraid that he will be so happy that he will forget everything." Jiang Rui nodded slowly and said, "Then the plan is well thought out. Let's discuss it. I'm also very uncomfortable that Grandma is here this time." "Oh, okay. When you take his money, you have to give half of it to me." Jiang Zhao seemed to be in a better mood. He rolled up his sleeves and began to drink tea. "You want me to do the hard work, and you want to share the money? What are you dreaming about? There's no hard work. I helped you find a shareholder who doesn't want dividends in your 7-star hotel. I have to sort out the layers of relationships in the middle. I should be the one doing the hard work. Come on. You just want to vent your anger. Jiang Rui was worried. The family Ouyang's money will rise even if we lose this part. By then, there will be a lot of trouble. Don't worry. I'll make him unable to rise, don't be too cruel. After all, we're family friends. He was heartless first. You can't blame me. Jiang Zhao stretched his neck and said, Brother, it's enough that we know about this. Don't let the ancestors of the family know about it. Jiang Rui said, You don't have to teach me. Anyway, you just have to handle it well. Don't let others think that the Jiang family is deliberately scheming against the family Ouyang. Business needs to be open and above board, right? Yes, yes, yes. We are all people who do proper business. Haha. Jiang Zhao picked up the small teacup and drank it. He found that his taste buds were sensitive. The tea had become more fragrant today. Hai City was a brightly lit city. On the surface, it was bright and prosperous, but in many inconspicuous corners, there were dark and sinister forces. West Corner Village was an urban-rural junction on the edge of Hai City. The buildings built by the local villagers were basically rented out. The rent was cheap, so many outsiders gathered here. There were all kinds of people, and the public security was relatively chaotic. It was also such a place where outsiders came in and out, and where there was a large flow of people, but some forbidden places could develop steadily. The largest underground casino in West Corner was in this village that looked dirty and messy. A white, old commercial van with a long license plate had its windows covered with cellophane that couldn't be seen through. When it passed by the bridge and drove to the south gate, the bearded man and the scarred nose each held a few black towels in their hands. The scarred nose said politely to the men and women in the back seat of the van, Bosses, according to the rules, you have to cover your eyes. I'm sorry. They all nodded and said, It's not the first time we came out to play. How can we not know the rules? Let's do it according to the rules. Okay. The driver drove seriously. The bearded man and the scarred nose covered the eyes of the people in the van who were going to gamble at a new place. After the car went down from the bridge, it went straight to the south gate, but now it was going north. After a junction, there was a big turntable at the crossroads. The van drove around the turntable twice and then went south. At the second traffic light, it turned left. After going straight, it turned back again. There was a piece of land that had just been bought. It was still barren, and there were bricks and small mounds everywhere. Tall weeds grew everywhere, and it was very messy. When the van drove in, it was as bumpy as an off-road vehicle in a drag race. Everyone was wearing their seatbelts. Some were very calm, as if this was not a rare situation, but some were very uneasy, and their hands were shaking. The bearded man comforted them. Bosses, don't worry. Although this road is not easy to walk, and it's a little far, we'll be there in a while. It's okay, a burly man replied calmly with a smile. The van went around in circles and arrived at West Corner Village. The few people who were covered by the cloth only knew that after a bumpy ride, they were brought out of the van with their bags of cash. They could not remove the cloth, so they had to be supported by others as they walked. The road was not smooth, and they would occasionally go down a few steps, then go up again after a while. They did not know how long they had been walking. In the end, they heard noises that were getting louder and louder. Some people were shouting, some were shouting, and the dice in the dice cup were colliding violently. When they pulled the cloth away, the few of them saw a scene that made their blood boil. Although the decoration of this place was not high-end, it had all the essentials. They could play poker, pai gao, big and small, mahjong, nyonyo. They were so excited that they clenched the bag of cash in their hands tightly. The bearded man and the scarred nose said to the few customers, Bosses, go and play. I wish you a small capital and a big profit. Thank you for your kind words. The few of them were eager to give it a try. We'll go over first. The bearded man said, Scar, go to the lobby and take a look. See if Mudfish and the others are playing here today. After you greet him, you have to ask around, okay? The scarred nose carried the money from the firecrackers and wandered around the casino as if he was looking for business. At this moment, a thin and small man walked over. Yo, Scar. Mudfish. Beauty novel, Songshu 566. Chapter 638. You guys are also shooting cannons at this place today? Yeah, I heard that business here is good. The people who come here are all big bosses. Money comes back quickly. Scarface put his arm around Loach's shoulder. You've made a fortune recently, haven't you? Loach spat. What fortune? I let out a sum of money last month. Damn it, the person went overseas. Damn it, the boss is angry. Your boss isn't here often. Collect the rest of the money to make up for it. Loach shook his head. He's been here all this time, and the amount isn't small. It's not something that can be made up just like that. The boss said that he's going to send people overseas to chase after him. You haven't been here for a long time. I thought you've made a fortune and changed to the right path. Scarface knew what was going on. What right path? You just like to go out in the middle of the night. Which right path doesn't work at this time? Besides, no matter what you do, you can't make money as fast as us, right? Huh, yes. He asked Loach if there were any customers with good reputations who could pay back the money and introduce them. Loach generously introduced a few bosses to Scarface. An hour later, a commotion broke out in the casino. A burly man jumped onto the poker table, pointed at the dealer, and scolded, "Damn it. Cheating." He pointed at the man opposite him. You guys are in cahoots. F***ck. You're bullying me, aren't you? Calm down. Who's cheating? The burly man in charge pushed the crowd aside. The burly man stepped on the table and rushed to the cards that the dealer was about to give to the man opposite him. He pressed down on the dealer's card dealer and flipped the cards on the table. Then, he flipped the cards in front of the dealer and drew. Everyone. Look. Is this king cheating? There are 5 aces in a deck of cards. The casino suddenly became noisy. Just now, the man opposite them was winning the poker table. The people at the table were upset when they lost. Now that they looked at their cards, wasn't it obvious? It was a cheat. Those who came to gamble in this kind of place were not super rich, but they were worth millions or tens of millions. When they caused trouble, they were more impressive. No one knew who started it, but the poker table started to fight. For a moment, blood was flowing out of their heads. Gradually, there were cases of cheating in 3 places. When a cheater's finger was chopped off and he screamed, the casino was in chaos. Some people spread out in all directions and began to look for an exit. Someone came out with a knife to threaten them, but it was unknown who pushed them from behind and stabbed one of them. Blood splattered. After a sigh, there were screams. The bearded man slowly walked toward He Ping. Cell phones were not allowed in the venue, so they could not contact the outside world. However, Zhuang Yichen had said that time was the limit. If he could not confirm that He Ping was inside, he should give the money to his men and leave first. If he knows He Ping is inside, he will stay for a longer time. Zhuang Yichen lay on the sofa, stroking the big golden retriever's neck with one hand and looking at the time on his wrist with the other. He picked up his phone and called Jiang Zhao's personal phone. He scratched the golden retriever's neck and said lazily, "Brother Zhao, the dishes are ready. Why aren't you serving them?" Jiang Zhao said he got it. After hanging up, he called the Western District Police Station's captain. "Captain 1, I am afraid you will need to replace the word team with station soon. You better hurry up. Everything is ready. We are just waiting for your order." Usually, Captain Wen didn't dare to touch these underground casinos because they were protected by the director. One must know that an underground casino had to support many of his superiors' mistresses. However, the situation was different now. Since Mayor Jiang gave him the clue, the person behind him was the mayor. He had to be promoted even if he did not want to. Captain Wen, what are you talking about? When did I give any order? Jiang Zhao asked with confusion. Captain Wen suddenly regretted his rashness. At this time, he could not drag Mayor Jiang down. He wanted to be the station chief and go to the Municipal Public Security Bureau in the future. He did not even know the rules of the officialdom. So, he said immediately. Boss, I have to carry out my task now. I can't chat with you. I will visit you another day. Go ahead. Jiang Zhao smiled and hung up the phone. Looking at Jiang Zhao hanging up the phone, he sighed, Jiang Zhao, you must hide it well. If you are so bad, who dares to mess with you in the future? Haha. Jiang Zhao traced the thin edge of the teacup with his finger and said with a smile, if people don't mess with me, I won't mess with them. If they mess with me. When he tilted his head and looked at Jiang Rui, his eyes were deep, but there was a trace of ruthlessness in his smile. I will definitely mess with them. Ouyang Sheng made his home not feel like home anymore. He also wanted to let him know what it was like to be in a mess at home. 20 minutes later, a piece of breaking news was broadcasted on the radio. An underground casino in West Corner Village had surfaced, and there were hundreds of millions of yuan worth of gambling money. His henchmen had testified on the spot that the person in charge of the casino was Haiqing's fourth master, Ouyang Sheng's nephew, He Ping. The Western District sent out the police immediately. The media arrived at the scene almost immediately, and the video was released to the public immediately. On the television, He Ping was being held back by the police. There were bundles of red RMB. The small ones were 10,000 renminbi each, and many of them were 100,000 renminbi bricks that were taken out from the bank. The 2 poker cards were not enough to hold them all, and they were piled up like a mountain. Scattered 100 yuan bills could be seen everywhere on the ground. There was no time to deal with it, help, or rescue. The news that the fourth master's nephew opened an underground casino immediately spread throughout Haicheng. The family Ouyang made a scene yesterday, and the lights were shining until dawn. Today, there was another big scene. Ouyang Sheng was caught off guard. His sister, Ouyang Yu, was kneeling in the living room. She had already fainted from crying and woke up again. When she woke up, she sat on the ground and leaned against the sofa, wailing, "Brother, you can't just leave him to die." He Ping was arrested this time. With such a large amount of money, I'm afraid he's done for. I only have one son, and we depend on each other for survival, brother. What are you making a scene for? Didn't the news just come out? You're just a woman's view. Ouyang Sheng shouted at Ouyang Yu, but he was also anxious. He was so worried that he had blisters at the corners of his mouth. The casino was doing well. He had made connections with all the people he could. He spent a lot of money to maintain the local police station, and he had also made connections with the higher-ups. Regardless of whether the casino was in a financial crisis or not, the casino could still make money. Therefore, under any circumstances, he had never thought of giving up on that lucrative business. Now, not only was the casino destroyed, even his nephew was locked up. The way the media reported it, it was obvious that they did not give him any face. However, the outside world did not know that he had a casino. Even his family friends did not know about his business. Who was the one behind his back doing this? Ouyang Yu got up from the ground. Her hair was already in a mess. Brother, let's look for someone. He Ping has never suffered before. What if he was beaten up in there? Ouyang Sheng's face suddenly turned cold. He turned sideways and shouted, "That's my nephew, Ouyang Sheng. Who dares to lay a finger on him? I want to see who has the guts to do so." Ouyang Yu nodded. Brother, let's go and take a look. I'm worried. Jiang Zhao lay in the small room and watched the replay on the TV. He still felt angry, so he took out his phone and called Captain Wen. Captain Wen, I'm calling to congratulate you for handling such a big case. Your future is bright. Captain Wen was happy to please him. Boss, I'm busy at the moment, okay, go ahead. But when the time comes, we'll see if there's any merit. Jiang Zhao hinted that he wanted someone to confess. I'll do a good job with this case. Hence, from time to time in the interrogation room, there was the sound of a man screaming in pain. There was also someone who asked calmly, "Tell me. Who's the boss behind this? Tell us clearly. We've been monitoring this place for a long time. If you don't tell us the truth, you'll suffer. Let me tell you, if you dare to lay a finger on me, my uncle won't let you off. Just you wait." He Ping was tied to the chair behind his back. At this moment, he was suddenly kicked to the ground. His nose was bleeding, his teeth were bleeding, and the wounds on his skin were also bleeding. He could not continue with his threats. He could only cry out. "We're waiting. We'll record everything you say. If anything happens to us one day, the first suspect will be your uncle." He Ping looked like a sturdy man with a beard, but he was actually timid. At first, he wanted to take the blame, but now, he felt that there was no hope. He was arranged by Ouyang Xing to work in a place like the casino where he could earn a lot of money every day. Everyone gave Ouyang Xing face and treated him well. He was always the one who hit others. When had others ever hit him? Those who took the statement and questioned him were all as fierce as the king of hell. They laughed and laughed, kicked, punched, and slapped him twice. He could not stand it anymore. Ouyang Xing led Ouyang Yu into the car. Ouyang Xing was calm and composed. The title of fourth master was well known in Haicheng. Everyone gave him face, so his calmness made Ouyang Yu feel much more relaxed. Ouyang Yu knew that there would be some risks in entering the casino. However, her son had been in the casino for so many years and had never gotten into trouble. It must be her brother's credit. Since her brother was so calm, she had nothing to be afraid of. When Ouyang Xing got out of the car, he patted his clothes in a very imposing manner. Ouyang Yu walked over and tidied her hair. She hooked her arm around Ouyang Xing's arm and entered the casino together. When they found the director's office, they did not see him. After asking, they found out that he was on a business trip. Moreover, he had only left in the afternoon. He had been transferred to the countryside at the last minute. Ouyang Xing increasingly felt that this was a well-planned conspiracy, but he did not know where the problem lay. Where's the deputy director? The deputy director is also on a business trip. Answer their calls. Their business trip this time is a confidential mission. Their phones have to be switched off. I can't get through. Ouyang Xing's expression became uglier and uglier. He was so angry that he asked loudly. Where's the captain? The police officer did not feel any pressure. He deliberately kept Ouyang Xing in suspense and said slowly, in the interrogation room, but no visitors. Awesome novel, Xinwu 799. Chapter 639. What? Ouyang Xing grabbed the officer's collar. How dare you talk to me like this? Old Mr. Ouyang, is this considered assaulting a police officer? The officer remembered Captain Wen had told him not to give face to anyone who came to make trouble, including Ouyang Xing. Assault police? Ouyang Xing's face was filled with shock and astonishment. Ouyang Xing was very timid, and Yi Ping had inherited her personality. He pulled Ouyang Xing's arm. Brother, let's think of other ways. Assaulting a police officer will get us into trouble. Ouyang Xing swung his arm. Get lost. Why should I be afraid of trouble? The officer was young and had good stamina. He was not easy to be tripped by others. Moreover, he had enough of these rich people's arrogance. He wanted to make Feng Yu angry. Captain Wen had told him not to give face to him. That means there were more influential people supporting this case. What should he be afraid of? Feng Yu leaned back. He pointed to the corner of the wall above his head and smirked. You're right. Stop. CCTV. You are holding on to me like this. If I fall, it will be considered as assaulting a police officer. I want to see how it goes. Yangxing pushed the police officer. The police officer fell backward and fell on the chair. Then, he immediately fell to the ground. He covered his stomach and curled into a ball on the ground like a cooked shrimp. Soon, there was a commotion in the police station. Someone was assaulting a police officer. Jiang Zhao had been thinking about this and did not leave the room. When he received a call from Captain Wen, he opened the door. Boss, Yangxing really came to the station and assaulted a police officer. How should we handle this? Do you have evidence? Yes, we have CCTV footage. Is it a real assault? Jiang Zhao asked cautiously. From the CCTV footage, it is 100% a real assault. The officer had the motive to avoid and did not fight back. From the CCTV footage, the officer's attitude was very good. It was Yangxing who was looking for trouble. He grabbed the officer's collar and hit him, sent it to the radio and television stations that just broadcast the news. You have to be quick and deal with it before he notifies his forces. You know what to say, right? I know. I won't mention anything that I shouldn't. Yes, thank you for your hard work. What are you talking about? Boss, I'm hanging up. Jiang Zhao hung up and twirled the phone in his hand. He thought to himself, Yangxing, I'll pull your tendons. Yangxing did not expect that after so many years of being innocent, he would be arrested at this age. The entire police station was filled with hotheads, and there was not a single familiar face. The station chief was on a business trip, the deputy chief was on a business trip, and the captain did not come out to meet anyone. He was actually detained by a few hotheads. If news of what happened today were to spread, he would lose all his face. Sitting in the police room, he was pressed down by a few police officers to take his statement. He didn't want to say a word. He knew it when he was young. Confess and you'll be lenient. If you resist, you'll go home for the new year. The more you talk, the more mistakes you'll make. The less you talk, the less mistakes you'll make. But this was still a small matter. Yangxing was furious because of Yang Yu's lack of composure. Yang Yu felt that since Yangxing was locked up, no one would give him face. Was it the end of the world? Her son could not be saved. The evidence on TV showed hundreds of millions of yuan in gambling. Moreover, it was proven that the casino belonged to her son. However, this casino did not belong to her son. It belonged to her brother, Yangxing. Her son was only in his early 30s and still had a lot of youth. He still had a long road ahead of him. If he was sentenced severely, what would she do? Would she end up like a white-haired person who had to send off her son? The more she thought about it, the more her heart ached. Brother, you have to think of a way. That casino did not belong to He Ping. How can you let him be the scapegoat? Brother, you can't do this. How much does He Ping earn in a year? That casino did not belong to you. Yangxing saw that the police officer was looking at him with a thought-provoking gaze. He stood up abruptly. He was so angry that his hands were trembling. Pia. He gave Yang Yu a slap. Yang Yu. Shut up. If you want your son to get out of here, you'd better shut your stinky mouth immediately. Yang Yu was stunned by this slap. Yangxing was so angry that his entire face was about to flip. Not only did this woman not have common sense, she did not even know who to protect now. As long as he fell from the family Yang, how could the others stand up? Brother. Yang Yu looked at Yangxing, who had his head held high and chest puffed out, looking like a fiend. She didn't even dare to cry out loud. The police officer looked at each other. He smiled as if he was watching a good show. Yangxing's chest was burning with anger. This group of brats did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. It was just that there were very few people in Haicheng who dared to not give him face publicly. The power of the casinos in Haicheng's several districts was very clear. Everyone minded their own business. They each did things their own way. No one wanted to take over another's territory. After all, if no one did such a thing publicly, did it mean that they did it privately? He knew the boss of the Was City Casino. That person was a straightforward guy. At that time, in order to protect the interests of the casinos in several districts, he had specially met with the managers below him. Lin Shui Casino. However, the bosses of these casinos were probably like him. They were only behind the scenes. The people in front of the scenes were just pawns. Ouyang Sheng called the city's public security office. It was also the public security office that released him with a call. Captain Lien Wen's interrogation work was immediately stopped. He Ping signed and admitted his guilt. This was the result that Jiang Zhao had expected. As Qin Rongfang said, Haicheng's power field was a magnetic field. There were positive poles and negative poles. When someone cut a magnet in half, the broken parts of the magnet would no longer be able to attract each other. If they could not attract each other, they would conflict with each other. If you forced them a little, the other magnet would also use a strong force to force your strength back. Unless you kept increasing your strength and forced the magnet out of this range. Otherwise, you would be restricted and unable to move forward. This magnetic field could not leave anyone. It reinforced and restrained each other. No one could survive alone. No one could be all-encompassing and reach out and overstep their authority. If this balance was broken, it would be chaotic. Therefore, the process of breaking this balance had to be slow. During this process, it was necessary to support another fulcrum to maintain the balance. Balance was the doctrine of the mean that everyone in the government had to learn. The Jiang family and the Qin family also paid attention to this doctrine of the mean. Every child had to learn from a young age, learn how to balance and learn how to balance. Just like him and Zhuang Yichen. Without Zhuang Yichen, he would do things as if he had lost a wing. However, without him, Jiang Zhao, Zhuang Yichen would not be where he was today. They needed each other and restrained each other. This was balance. He wanted to restrain Ouyang Sheng. He could only skin him bit by bit, pull out his tendons, anesthetize and infiltrate him bit by bit. He could not alert the enemy. After today's incident, Ouyang Sheng would probably think that someone wanted to steal his betting spot. Who would know that the famous fourth master was involved in the casino business? Grandpa and father did not know. However, Jiang Zhao had a partner called Zhuang Yichen. Zhuang Yichen's business was half bright and half dark. Therefore, Ouyang Sheng would never expect that his casino would be destroyed by Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao had achieved his goal. At this time, he stopped and stopped. Ouyang Sheng would not suspect him, and the elders in the family would not know. Even if they knew, they would not be angry. They would only damage Ouyang Sheng's reputation and money. Moreover, now that He Ping was forced to admit his crime, Ouyang Yu would definitely not be satisfied. Internal strife? Jiang Zhao heaved a sigh of relief and thought to himself, Ouyang Sheng, as the saying goes, if the family is harmonious, everything will prosper. If you want me to be at odds with my wife, I can only let you and your sister be at odds with each other. This time, he had picked on Ouyang Sheng's one-track mind. Underground casinos provided Ouyang Sheng with a large amount of money, allowing him to do many businesses. Once this capital chain was broken, many of his projects that were in full swing would be difficult to maintain. If he needed a capital chain, he would have to take a bank loan. If he had to take this step, Jiang Zhao's mood improved. He had angered Ouyang Sheng to the point that he was hospitalized. This feeling was not ordinary. Thinking back to that time, Jiang Zhao's blood pressure had risen. How could he say that he would take responsibility? Not to mention that he did not have any memories. Even if he had memories, he could not take responsibility. Even if he had memories? Even if he had memories, he could not. Jiang Zhao shook his head. The atmosphere in the Procuratorate Director's office was tense. Ouyang Yen sat opposite Shin Kai with a mask and sunglasses. Ouyang Yen had already applied for leave, but something big had happened at home. Her grandfather was hospitalized, and she was very worried that He Ping's case would implicate her family Ouyang. She wanted to meet Shen Kai face to face, and only Shen Kai had the authority to help her with Yun Hongwei's matter. Shen Kai, are you going to help me? If I agree to be with you. Shen Kai said as he buried his head in signing documents. Tell me, your face hasn't even recovered. What are you doing here? It's enough for you to take care of for a month. Go back. Ouyang Yen seemed to be spied on by someone. She shivered as if she had reached her climax. What did you say? Inspector O. Shen Kai raised his head and looked at Ouyang Yen. Even though he was wearing the prosecutor's office uniform, he still looked a little like a hooligan. His lips were crooked, and when he opened his mouth, his smile was a little evil. Fortunately, a handsome man with such a smile was not annoying. Instead, it was a little fascinating. Sometimes, don't be too confident. Agree? What do you mean agree? We both graduated from law school. Sometimes, you have to think clearly about the meaning of a word. What is the basis for agreeing? The basis for agreeing is that I have a request. What request have I made that you need to agree to? You. Ouyang Yen slammed her slender hand on the desk and stood up angrily. Shen Kai, don't be so shameless. Face? My face? Shen Kai touched his cheek and continued to bury his head in signing documents. My face is still on my head. I don't need to cover it with a mask and sunglasses. Moreover, I have always felt that a woman's face is more important. Don't you women like to say that a woman looks good for herself? If you don't have a face, who else can you please? Shen Kai had always been a sharp-tongued person. It was not that Ouyang Yen had not experienced his sarcastic and mean way of speaking. The last time they ate at Haiyue restaurant, Shen Kai's attitude was not much better. However, Shen Kai's sarcasm today made Ouyang Yen feel unusually uncomfortable. Shen Kai, if you don't want to help, then don't help. Is there a need to be like this? I don't think there's a need, but didn't you still ask? What do you mean? Awesome novel, Shinwoo 799. Chapter 640. Sigh. Shen Kai was a person who rarely frowned, but at this moment, his pair of dark eyebrows were furrowed. Do you know why I didn't choose to have a crush on you like the other students in university, and instead chose to fight with Jiang Zhao? Because I feel that you have to fight for everything. If you win, you can wait for an equal return. Having a crush on someone is the stupidest thing. I will not continue to have one-sided feelings for a woman who doesn't like me. This is my nature. Actually, what I want to say is, I am different from you. You feel that all the men in the world are dead, and it must be Jiang Zhao. But I feel that all the women in the world are not dead, and there is no need, it must be you. Do you understand? When Ouyang Yen turned around, her lips were trembling under the mask. She was very uncomfortable, and no one cared about her feelings. Shen Kai looked at Ouyang Yen leaving and sighed. What does it mean to be stubborn? After Ouyang Xing's gambling den incident, there was a cash flow problem. In order to reduce He Ping's sentence, he had to pay a huge fine and a relationship fee. Because of this, he did not have the time and energy to deal with Ouyang Yan's matters. Yi Er had been ignoring Jiang Zhao. She needed to calm down. Jiang Zhao only cared about pleasing Yun Hongwei, and Yun Hongwei's case was being dealt with quickly. Jiang Zhao let Yi Er be. He only talked to her about Yun Hongwei's case occasionally and asked for her opinion. Jiang Zhao knew that this was despicable, but he did not mind her staying by his side because of Yun Hongwei, even though he knew that Yi Er did not love him. Now that he knew that she loved him, he would not mind using this method to remind her that she needed him. Yi Er needs Jiang Zhao. Without Jiang Zhao, she does not have any information. She wanted to use the power of the media, but she realized that even with the power of the media, she does not know how to dig deeper. She could not get any information from the previous mayor, and her father was only a scapegoat. It was very difficult for her to find out the truth behind this. Fortunately, she was so cold that she didn't want to share a bed with Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao was also willing to indulge her. At this time, she believed that he loved her. Because in the past, she always thought that what he liked was only her body. He liked to lie on her body and do what he wanted to do. Women like to separate love from sex. But men don't think that when a man wants a woman, he likes to put her naked on the bed for him to fish on. Jiang Zhao is no exception. Even if Yi Er treated her coldly and said that he would not return to Jiang district to officiate the wedding, he would still let her be. But this doesn't mean that he doesn't want to do something with her. But he must be very gentlemanly in front of her and not let her keep a distance from him. Even if they are just friends, it would be good. In front of Yun Hongwei, they can still hug. How many days has it been since they slept together? When they hugged each other, they felt the blood in their body rushing around. Yi Er was still the same as before. After dinner, she sent Jiang Zhao to the door. Yun Hongwei said to Jiang Zhao, "If you don't want to come home for dinner, give me a call." In front of Yun Hongwei, Jiang Zhao kissed Yi Er's forehead and said goodbye to them. After a while, Yi Er drove to the newly rented dance studio to look at the design drawings. Jiang Zhao felt that the kiss on Yi Er's forehead every day was too short. He wanted to make it longer and lower. It would be best if he could suck on her lips. Today, as soon as he got to the office, he was thinking about these things. He was really beastly. Behind Jiang Zhao's desk was a bookshelf. At this moment, he was standing alone in front of the bookshelf. He leaned back in his chair and stared at the folder in front of him in a daze. His dark blue suit was a reserved color. The fine workmanship and embossed tailoring made him look exceptionally tall and muscular. His well-defined and handsome facial features paired with this outfit made him look like a steady and handsome man. But at this moment, he had his arms crossed in front of his chest. With his left foot as the center of gravity, the tip of his right foot was hooked on the ground outside of his left foot. His head was slightly tilted as he stared at the folder in front of him. It was as though he had seen something strange and couldn't stop giggling. It was as though he had been infected with a childishness that seriously didn't match his usual temperament. Jiang Zhao laughed for a while. Then he took out his phone and called Yi Er. "Yin Yi, I'm coming home for dinner tonight. I want to eat your cooking." Yi Er answered very quickly. "Okay. Text me the dishes you want to eat. I don't want to forget 1 or 2 dishes when I go grocery shopping." "Okay." Jiang Zhao laughed and hung up the phone. He turned around and sat back in his chair. After thinking about it, he still called Qin Fian. That night, Jiang Zhao could be said to have eaten and drank to his heart's content. At the table, Jiang Zhao kept giving Yi Er some dishes with a slightly stronger flavor. Yun Hongwei beamed with joy. His son-in-law was so good to his daughter. After dinner, Jiang Zhao poured some water and went upstairs. He drank as he walked, very leisurely. After returning to his small room, he closed the door and generously put the seasoning he had prepared in advance into the cup. He shook it a little and saw that the water in the cup seemed to be evenly distributed. Then he generously went downstairs and filled the cup with some warm water. Yi Er was watching TV with Yun Hongwei. Jiang Zhao walked over and sat down beside Yi Er. He handed the cup to Yi Er. "Here, drink some water. The dishes are cooked well, but the flavor is a little strong. I'm afraid you'll be thirsty." Yi Er pushed the cup away and didn't appreciate it. "I'm not thirsty." Jiang Zhao hurriedly protected the cup, afraid that the water would spill. "Drink it. I've already drunk half the cup. I poured some more for you. You've worked hard cooking tonight." Yun Hongwei turned his head and glared at Yi Er. "I also think you're thirsty. Hurry up and drink it." Yi Er thought to herself, "This is my biological father. Why is he siding with his son-in-law when it comes to drinking water? If Jiang Zhao wanted to buy people's hearts, he wouldn't have to do it so subversively, right?" Looking at her father's threatening gaze, Yi Er lifted the cup. She held the cup and gulped down the large cup of water. Jiang Zhao took the cup and stood up. Yin Yi, Dad, take your time watching. I'm going upstairs. I still have some work to do, Yi replied with an N. Yun Hongwei said, don't work too hard. Yi made some sweet soup. Come down and drink it when you're done. Jiang Zhao said, okay, Dad. I'll go up then. He turned and went upstairs. Jiang Zhao held onto the wooden staircase railing. His mind was a little flustered, and he couldn't help but smile as he walked. Yi seemed to have sensed something and turned her head. She saw Jiang Zhao walking slowly upstairs as he looked at her and smiled. Don't you have work to do? You still have time to dawdle? Oh. Jiang Zhao pursed his lips. His shoulders twitched, and he smiled leisurely. He waved at Yi and said gently, if I don't come down, bring me a bowl of sweet soup when it's ready. Before Yi could reply, Yun Hongwei had already turned around. Go ahead. I'll get Yi to bring it up for you later. Satisfied, Jiang Zhaoji went upstairs to the study. He turned on the computer and started working. He had to finish reading the emails quickly. He also had to take a shower later. He had to see which pajamas were easier to take off. Yi felt her mouth and tongue dry. The dishes for dinner were really too salty. She stood up to get some water. The water was warm, but it didn't quench her thirst. She opened the fridge and found a Yakult. She opened the lid and drank it in 2 mouthfuls. It finally cooled down a little. It was still winter. Was there a need for that? Was it because the temperature in the house was constant and dry? Yun Hongwei knew that Yi was looking for water. Jiang Zhao was afraid that you'd be too salty, so he gave you water to drink. You didn't want it. See, you're still thirsty. Yun Hongwei also realized that he had become naggy because he stayed at home for too long and couldn't work. I see that you've been dissatisfied with Jiang Zhao recently. Look at yourself. How many men like Jiang Zhao are so responsible for their families? Jiang Zhao never goes out too late to socialize. When he can eat at home, he never goes out. He's also very tolerant of you. Are you starting to put on airs now that you're living well? Dad, what are you talking about? As Yi drank her water, she felt that she had been wronged. Jiang Zhao had been going overboard recently. When she ignored him, he didn't do anything. But he changed his strategy and adopted a more conciliatory approach. He changed his approach and actually started with her father. Her father didn't trust Jiang Zhao in the beginning. But now, he found him pleasing to the eye. People say that the more a mother-in-law looks at her son-in-law, the more satisfied she is. Wasn't her attitude too disrespectful to the person who created this saying? Yi it's not that I want to nag at you, but you've turned a deaf ear to what I said to you the last time. Now, Jiang Zhao dotes on you and loves you. If you don't know how to cherish him, you'll push him away sooner or later. If you treat him well, he'll miss this home and want to come back. Every day, he comes back to see your cold face. Do you think he can't find a wife or something? Yun Hongwei said, looking at Yi, who was looking for a drink in front of the fridge in the dining room, just watch. You can continue to act like this. Now, Jiang Zhao dotes on you and loves you. If you don't cherish him, you'll push him away sooner or later. He continued to talk about this. The moment he did, Yi felt like she had eaten a fly. Of course I know he's very charming. Truckloads of women like him. Yun Hongwei could hear the impatience in Yi's words and stopped talking. Young people don't know how to cherish. He turned back to continue watching TV. Yi was not in the mood to continue talking. She felt uncomfortable all over, as if there were tiny insects crawling all over her body. She could even feel that her insides were a little wet. This was too terrible. She felt that her face must be red right now. How could this be? She didn't open any novel websites today and didn't read any of those unscrupulous online novels. Even if she did, she had been doing something like green net cleansing during this period of time. All the novels written by authors were as clean as water could be. Not to mention meat, there wasn't even any meat soup to drink. She couldn't let her imagination run wild, right? Yi Er took an iced Coke, closed the fridge door, and ran upstairs. After drinking a few mouthfuls of the Coke, Yi Er realized that she had become naughty. She took off her clothes piece by piece and walked into the bathroom naked. She turned on the shower and the water from the showerhead splashed onto her body. The water was slightly cold, but Yi Er felt that the temperature was not low enough. As she showered, she took deep breaths. The water sprinkled down from the top of her head. Yi Er rubbed the shower gel on her body. She raised her arm and saw that there was a layer of pink on her arm. The color seemed to be transparent, as if it would break with a poke. After it broke, the color below would be redder, more beautiful, and more stunning. So she rubbed hard, trying to break through this layer of skin. The bath lotion was smooth and fragrant as it brushed past her skin. She would often rub it repeatedly with her slender hands, creating many bubbles. Yi Er turned off the lotus and looked at the bubbles on her hands and body. When she leaned against the cool magnetic tiles, a silhouette appeared on the bubbles. Among those silhouettes, there were those who were naked, those who were lustful, those who were on top of each other, and those who were on top of each other. There were only two people in the silhouettes. One of them was Jiang Zhao, and the other was Yun Yi Er. Beauty novel, Songshu 566. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.